All right. Testing. We all be testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? Just checking everybody. Make sure. Okay. My low tech. Okay. I think everything's fine from what I can see. Welcome, found to another wonderful, entertaining, agitating edition of We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. And we're gonna do a couple of some housekeeping, read a disclaimer, and we'll get on with the program. But thank you all for joining us for another wonderful time here in We All Be Land. Because we all be in it to win it. Got an interesting one for you all today. Got some great guests on here, but let me read this disclaimer because YouTube be tripping over here. And really, I pride myself on being a advocate of the First Amendment, but we're living in an alternative reality right now where, well, it's not really. It's always been like this. I think George Orwell, Mr. 1984, said it best. To tell the truth is a revolutionary act, something like that. I'm not sure because we live in an alternative universe. But here's the disclaimer. The views expressed by hosts and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. I'm gonna have to read a disclaimer throughout the whole show, I think. But have no fear. We believe in express yourself. So without further ado, we're going to introduce our guest on the dais. And what's the topic? Brothers and a SiStar going to talk it out. We're going to get that female perspective on some of the things we've been talking about lately, as well as talk about current events. So without further ado, it's truly an honor to have on this beautiful SiStar. How you doing? Dana with the data. I see you got your mic. You mute yourself. You muted yourself? Your
I
mic is.
always forget to do that.
How you doing, Dana? With
Good. No, I was saying never mind my hair because I get my hair done this week and we had like bad weather over here in New Jersey.
Nor'easter. The Nor'easter, that's what they call it.
Yeah. And
Nor'easter, like an R. Kelly song or something. Oh, I'm sorry. But go ahead.
And then it's like it was doing some stuff today too. So I just pulled back into a ponytail.
Oh, that's good. Miss Jersey Red, how you doing?
Good, I like that name. That's cute.
You earned that name. It's an honor to have you on the show. Made my whole weekend.
I know. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's an honor. So just introduce yourself to our people. I know you got a following out there. So just introduce yourself.
I got a little following. It's not. It's growing. It's growing.
It is.
But,
it definitely is.
Well, I have a YouTube channel, The Real Dana. Before that, I was on YouTube, but I was on the Star Report. We did Star in the Morning. That was fun for about a year. And then I created my own YouTube channel and just trying to figure out my lane. And so I have Judge Joe Brown. I come on like every Thursday.
Oh, definitely. Man up. Yeah.
And it's man up. So it's like, it's really for, because majority of my audience are like 80% men. And I'm trying to get more female audience as well. But it's mainly about men and what men should do and need to do. And, just topics, politics. So my platform is really based on politics, history, and, Black people and what we're going through and what we need to do to improve our situation here in America and worldwide. I don't really deal too much international, but I think I need to start, but just mainly, our issues that are going on here in the United States. And also in 2021, I have my other channel, Love Yourself Massage. Mm-hmm. And that's just going to strictly be about wellness and health because I'm a licensed massage therapist. That's what I do for a living. So, yeah. So it's, It's I call it the little train that could, my channel, but it's growing and I'm trying to get to 10,000. I want to get to 10,000 before January. But yeah, so I like the work that I'm doing, and it's just really for people to just have a good conversation, to learn and to share their perspectives and opinions
Hmm.
and stuff that they know as well. And because I would have probably more than 10,000 if I was talking about celebrity gossip or relationships, but I kind of wanted to do something with substance because that's what we need to really like reprogram our thinking and everything.
And we definitely need to detox from the junk food, which is celebrity
Yes,
gossip and news. I mean, it's killing us slowly and now fast. They speeding it up. It's purge time.
right. And it's
Tis the season to be
I'm in
purging.
for the fuckery. I'm for all that, but
Uh huh.
it's a time and a place for everything. But it's like, okay, I need to handle my business first.
Mm-hmm.
So
So true.
when we look
Church.
at the groups of people here in America, not just white people, I don't even. I think we're talking about other people, whether it's people coming from India or from other countries. Like they come here and they're focused and they're about their business,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not. And that's the problem that I have. Like I don't have nothing against anybody that's about their business. That's what you're supposed to do. I
Right.
just look at it when it comes to us, we're not, and we always throw out that word white supremacy, and it's like okay, but it's so much bigger than white supremacy is not going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
We can still succeed in society with white supremacy
Hmm. I heard that. So why do you think you have such a large male following? What do you think is the secret to that?
because the platform that I came for, it was majority men. So then when I started my YouTube channel, and those
Mm-hmm.
followers, but they came onto my channel, and I don't talk about the femininity stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't really attract women so much. But where I came from was men. And so when they followed me, it was majority men. So that's why. So it was more, logistics.
That's
And
cool
then
to have.
I don't set my channel up as in finding a man or a husband or how to be a lady type thing.
So yeah, you truly Jersey style. I
I
like
mean,
that.
I'm a
Jersey
lady and
girl.
I'm feminine, but it's just
Yeah.
I don't want to constantly talk about that because if you're a grown woman and you don't know how to be feminine, like you need to go to a therapist. Like a lot of people is, and I
Mm-hmm.
this YouTube is a good business for people to start to have. It's a hustle.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need a YouTube person pretending to be a life coach and you have no degrees in that era. Go to the
Mm-hmm.
therapist because that therapist is going to not so much teach you how to be feminine, it's going to teach you how to improve yourself inside, your mind, your psychological, your mental, physical, and all that,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we're missing in the Black community is mental health. Like we don't discuss that.
Oh, we
That's
don't.
the problem.
Mm. I hear you on that. I definitely hear you on that. But it is kind of a lot of confusion going on as far as gender roles and even the issue of sexuality, identity, and stuff like that. It's just too much going on right now.
Yeah. I don't, first of all, it's too many labels.
Mm-hmm.
I know LGBTQ because and then it was LGBT, then they added the Q. Now it's an AI. I don't know what that means. Cis, binary, and I don't subscribe to none of that. I don't even allow anyone to call me a cis because I'm not. I'm
Mm-hmm.
heterosexual. I'm a biological heterosexual female woman. So yeah, and so my kids are 27 and 22, and I was just talking to my son the other day.
Mm.
It's like I had this conversation with him, like, do you like men?
You didn't know you birthed this guy. You didn't know. You couldn't tell early on.
Listen, it's I don't. I mean, you raise your kids like I want you to get married and have kids, but it has nothing to do with how your parents raised you because they could
Mm.
raise you saying you have to be married, but it's
Mm-hmm.
his generation is so many labels, sexually fluid or whatever, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
he was
weird. It's like
like,
interesting.
I
Yeah.
said, why? Why is that? He was like, it's not. He was like, I get what you're saying. It's just that it's a lot of people in my generation, they come, let's say, from a broken place So no matter what the gender is, anybody showing them affection, they're going to grab onto it. So they don't care if it's the same sex or the opposite sex, right? Because they're hurt and they need love. So anybody showing them love and affection, they're going to grab one of that, and they think, okay, this is what I have to be, or this is what I have to choose. And he said what helped him, because I put him in an all boys school, St. Benedict's, and he was like, I had therapy. I said, you did? And he was like, yeah, we have a therapist in school. So I think he was going to therapy weekly or bi-weekly. He was like, so that helped him, going back to the mental health, to, understand what he was going through, just how to, what's the word? To analyze things and to just to understand, there's no such thing as a perfect parent or a perfect family. So things that happen, why is he feeling this way? How to improve himself, how to improve his situation. So that helped him not to feel angry or sad or depressed or abandoned. And he was basically saying so many young people are so depressed. That's why a lot of young kids do so many different drugs. They are abandoned, and they don't have anybody to talk to. We don't have therapy. We don't have mental health resources. And it sounds so cliche when we talk about mental health, but that's a big word. And I think, we definitely need to start addressing that and having topics on that, because you talk about racism, you talk about police brutality, even politics with the election, all, coronavirus was going on with the lockdown. That affects people's mental state of mind, and we don't even realize it.
Nah, that's interesting with all the stuff you're saying. Could it also be it's too much soy in our food?
That too. It could be that too. When we talk about from a science aspect of it, and medical and stuff like that, I'm not big with science, even though it's so fascinating. And we need to be more educated in it, but I think that plays a part when we talk about these vaccinations and stuff. Not the new one, just the ones that you have to go to school and stuff like that. I think that if I could put it like this, as a parent, if I could go back, right, knowing what I know now, I definitely would have waited to vaccinate my kids, probably until maybe they were like 10, if I could have held off that long. But you're so indoctrinated on, when your baby is born, before they leave the hospital, they get a vaccination, or at 2 months, you got to take them back, 1 year. And I'm thinking I'm being a responsible parent. And and we didn't have a Dr. Umar Johnson. We didn't have all these other people who we have access to. We didn't have YouTube, where you had a resource to go to get all this different information. And then I always had Black doctors, right? Because I grew up with Black doctors and I trust Black doctors, and they were doing their job. A lot of doctors are just doing their job. They're not doing it to harm people. But I say all that to say, we have so much access and resource now to educate ourselves. So I do think vaccinations has played a part and continue to play a part. But now that we know, we could make different decisions, and we have to start organizing and working together to form a coalition so that we protect ourselves, and protect our community and protect our children, and not let the government or anybody else dictate to us what we have to do. Case in point, when I sent you the Instagram last night.
AOC, notorious AOC.
Taking
crazy eyes. Crazy eyes.
But just that whole process, like just really about not being on code, but just learning how to decode on a basic level. Her going, and the way you go to her Instagram, AOC, and she has it there. She went walking in, sat, took the vaccination. She was like, it's actually 2 doses you'll have to take. And then she showed her card, and it says coronavirus vaccination card. I'm looking at that. I'm like, they're trying to push that and make it law. That's why they're showing these politicians taking these vaccinations, more so the Democrats. And watching her, it's like, okay, that is exactly their agenda. And that scares me. Like, I have a problem with that. I do not want it to be mandatory for us to have a coronavirus vaccination. And then you have to have a card. And then now they're saying that corporations, the private sector, they can make it mandatory for their employees to take the COVID-19 vaccination. And, if they refuse, then they can't work.
That's interesting. So are we in the Fourth Reich right now? What's going on?
Oh, I understand what you're saying, but yeah, I think we are, but I think it's only going to apply to certain groups of people.
Okay.
And I think it's always been like that. Like if you go through history, who always gets the brunt of everything? The poor people, the dumb people, the black people. And when I say black, whether you are African black, Indian black, just black, you're not white. So yeah, I mean, I think history always repeats itself.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, we are living in an interesting time. I don't even trust my lying eyes. I can't trust my lying eyes. Definitely don't trust Cortez crazy eyes. But she was right this week. A broke clock is right twice a day, right? She actually was right on the stimulus check thing. We should be getting like at least $2,000 in stimulus check money. And really, that's don't cover a lot for a lot of people living expenses. And also, the Democratic Party needs new leadership.
I mean, I don't really care about the Democratic Party because it doesn't matter who's the leader. They're going to do what they're going to do. They are the Dixiecrats. And so going back to waking up, right? We shouldn't even care too much about who's the leader of who party. And let's say black people. Some people, you hear people say we need an independent party. Yes, we need an independent party, but we're going to have to choose where we're going to take our block of votes, Republican side or Democrat side, because it's always going to be either Democrat, Republican in the White House and Congress. So we need our own independence and not be latched to the Democratic Party. We need to do an exodus from the Democratic Party, period. Me personally, when we are independent, that means that, okay, I need to probably vote this person in because they're going to do what I need them to do, right? Your agenda, which we don't have. We don't have an independent party. We don't have a coalition to make these demands like other groups do. And honestly, I think it's time for, if we're just talking politics, Republican, Democrat, it's time for black people to go back to the Republican Party. But you just can't go and vote. You have to actually go with a purpose, with an agenda. I always say this, and this was from Dr. Amos. He said, politicians are just the presenters. We are the forecasters. So if you want to forecast something, you have to know what you're talking about. You have to know what you need. You have to know how the system works in order to forecast. And then they present it. And that's how we get results. We don't just vote and then tell them to do their job. No. We tell them what we want. And if you don't deliver, then you will not be sitting in that seat. And we put our money together and we put that person in whatever seat, locally, especially, on a state level and on a congressional level.
Okay, that's a great point. I want to bring in some more people to the conversation. Brother Coolicc, calling Brother Coolicc. How you doing, bro?
How you doing there? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Great, Brother Coolicc. Can you introduce yourself to our people? I know you are a regular now, but can you do your short introduction about who you are and what you represent and where we can find more information on you?
Well, my YouTube channel is PiNeal Coolicc. Y'all can find me there. And also I have an interview with Dr. Phil Valentine at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So any of y'all want to join in the chat, or got some questions,
excellent, man.
Come on in live. And Ron, I'm going to send you that link on there if you want to come in there. And yeah. And my Instagram is Coolicc and Twitter is Coolicc. And if y'all want to email me at WNNW33@gmail.com. And my Cash App is Run That Ball, like them stupid niggas running that ball for the good white massa.
It is Sunday. So brother Coolicc, what you been thinking about the conversation, sister? Me and SiStar Dana with the data been having the real Dana. Anything pick your interest?
Anything? I heard a little bit what y'all was talking about. I know Dana just got talking about the politics and independent party thing. I agree. You know, we talk about white supremacy a lot. This is a buzzword nowadays in this Afrocentric community. And again, like y'all should know, I don't identify with being African or African American. My folks didn't come off a ship. I am an American Indian of the Americas, right? I don't have, I'm not, I don't know anything about that. My family never told me about being African and all that Jewish Nazi Zionist bullcrap. But I agree. You know, we talk about the white supremacy thing way too much. We have to realize that, yeah, we have certain enemies that are a different race that want to keep us down, but also we got people in this community that want to keep us down too, male or female. And I believe there's level 1, there's level 2, there's level 3, but we still haven't got over level 1, which is the black white supremacists in this community.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. So also I want to add another person, because I like to please pretty women as best I can. The one and only Dr. Randy Short. How you doing, sir?
Hold on.
Hi, Dr. Short.
How are you, darling?
Good.
And she requested you. She's a fan of yours. She's been a long time follower.
Oh my God, I'd love to have fans, especially
I'm a
when
little nervous. I'm a little nervous. But
when there's sister fans. That's very important because that means she's going to tell her kids about me. That's important. Blessings and peace to all of you.
Excellent.
Blessings and peace. And I'm about to put this up on StreamYard. Brother Ron Hurd has made me this video freak. It's your fault, Ron. I was
my
very
fault.
happy. I was just very happy to come on platforms and be a guest, but he's made me into this media junkie, and so here I am. But man, there's so much going on. But I'm gonna tell you something. Look, they messed with my computers. I couldn't get online. Have you had that problem, Ron, where you just can't get online? Nothing will work?
I have some interest in a lot of people keep on subscribing. I'm losing a lot of subscribers right now. I don't know. I keep on getting a lot of views, but I'm losing subscribers for some reason.
no, something's going on with YouTube.
I think it's China.
I noticed they took some subscribers away from me overnight, probably like maybe 50 or 100. But YouTube, they're going through something. They're going through a purge.
It's China. It's a Chinese Communist Party doing this to our technology. I blame it on China.
Well, the government letting them.
Oh yeah, but it's China West though. America is China West.
Yeah,
you know.
And the Chinese own the government. They all that cheap stuff we've been buying from the dollar stores. They're now using it to kick us in the behind with it. They've invested in boots to kick us in the ass with the money that we've been spending, thinking we've been getting inexpensive stuff. The shit breaks before you get it out the bag when you get home. We need to stop buying this stuff.
You're right about that, Dr. Short. But also, Dr. Short, I've been looking at some of your Facebook Lives. You talking about how gentrification is really genocide. You talking about your local neighborhood store. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in your neighborhood?
Well, it closed yesterday. You know, I live in Edgewood. Edgewood used to be New Jack City. Now it's one of the most heavily gentrifying areas in DC. I mean, they're just throwing up stuff everywhere. I mean, even the rats have Gucci bags here. It's ridiculous. I mean, what are we supposed to do with this? You know, we were promised when they started putting up new buildings here that they were going to keep the little cheap store that you could either shoplift in if you were smart, or at least you could get stuff inexpensively called Save-A-Lot. And they promised that they were going to let this store be here because we had stores. So we'd had a Safeway. Every time they get a store and the store people buy from it, someone comes and shuts the store, right? And I know one time some niggas came in and robbed everybody during Christmas in the store. I mean, that was a real ho. And we really did feel like we got screwed. But we still had a store. Now the store shut its doors yesterday. And they just announced the last month, the store's going to close. That's the store's 2 blocks from my house. So whether it's hot or cold, I can get to the store, buy stuff. And now I have to walk maybe a half mile to Giant, where the stuff costs more and so forth. And the nice thing about the little ghetto store is that it was basically us, a sense of being around. I mean, I knew the cashiers in the store. There's one of the ladies there. I think I like her. She liked me because, this dude was threatening her. And I would come up and talk like him, talk about having a small penis and even smaller wallet. And the people love me right now. You got to go where all the other people are. Anything that we like, they destroy here. Anything.
Well, I gotta ask y'all this. I think it's I just now noticed recently that this year is like 2016 on steroids.
Right.
It made 2016 like child's play. This is really 2012. This is what 2012 is supposed to be. It's supposed to be 8 years ago. This is the Mayan doomsday BS. They really killing us, man. This is purge. They really are killing. I didn't realize I lost so many people this year until just sat down last week. I'm losing a lot of people, not just because of this C word, but because of this anxiety is off the charts, the stress. The people that normally could weather the storm are dying. Like C.T. Vivian, if the year wasn't so bad, I believe C.T. Vivian and Charles Evans could have lived. Well, I'm losing a lot of people, man. I am now realizing.
C.T. Vivian, C.T. Vivian, as much as I love C.T. Vivian, he missed his wife. He had a very, really beautiful wife named Octavia. You don't live as long if you were very close, like he and his wife were, that she goes. I mean, about two years ago, it really began to change for him. So understand, he was 96. Okay, he was just like a day or two before being 96 years old.
Mm-hmm.
His wife's been gone about 4 or 5 years. You can. he was. Sometimes you're ready. Sometimes you're ready when they take a significant other from you. When that happens, you're gone. So I would think that C.T. Vivian is probably exceedingly happy to be with his wife.
Yeah, I know I had 4 years ago, I lost my paternal grandmother. And then she died early August. And by the end of the August, my step grandfather died. He was from India actually, and they were married for almost 42 years. So they went really fast within less than a month of each other. So right. I can understand that. But what I'm saying is that it's a lot of people dying because they're forcing us to. They actually are trying to get rid of people. Like they're pushing people to the extremes that normally would not die.
They do, but I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get on a lot of people's nerves. But the old folks used to sing a song, I've been lied on, cheated, talked about, mistreated, built, scorned, talked about sure as you're born. I've been up, I've been down, I've been level, almost to the ground. As long as I got King Jesus, I'll need nobody else. Things that used to anchor Black people who went through worse, we've thrown the anchor away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's offensive to a whole lot of people. I'm sorry. I've had peace of mind. The songs that our people used to sing, he's a heart fixer and a mind regulator. Mm-hmm. Well, people who are committing suicide and taking opioids don't have their hearts fixed and their minds regulated. And they're in all these other new belief systems and they don't seem to deal with it. Now, don't get me wrong. We as a people have been disemboweled of a lot of things. I just got off the phone, Brother Ron, and I want to say to all of you, as a Christian, I'm profoundly disgusted with most of the leadership in our religious institutions. I'm going to stick to Christians, but the other ones are jacked up too. Because you can be a coon Muslim, a coon Buddhist, a coon Negro. You can be a coon no matter what you are. But Do you know that the part of the anxiety in our community that you're speaking to, Ron, is designed and it's in-house. It's boule, and it should be called screw-lay. That's for the pastors, that we have a screw-lay. I don't know how but they're all together. There's been an eerie silence from Black religious leadership, with the exception, if I could say, of Louis Farrakhan. Most of them won't have said nothing, won't talk to nothing about this COVID. They've said nothing about Flint, nothing about Katrina. There's nothing that happens that makes these well-paid pedophile, queer, sellout preachers speak up. And in the past, you might get a Nat Turner or Martin Luther King or Adam Clayton Powell. We don't have these now. What we do have, getting back to my conversation, they have offered in Chicago and in Boston and in New York, they're paying these nigger preachers to take money to push this killer vaccine. These nigger preachers, okay, if the police could shoot some people, in as much as we don't seem to be able to stop them, I wish they'd get some of these sellout preachers. You know, I promise not to march or burn anything, because these dogs are paid. They're working with the system to destroy us. I had a pastor, an ex-pastor, tell me their first offer was $30,000 if he would just lie to people about, treatments. I mean, that was the starting offer. This dude's been retired about 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a nice piece of change if you've been locked in all year. What are they offering to the mega church coons?
My thing is this about the church. I mean, they not attracting young people. I know I went down to Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Alabama 5 years ago. That's Dr. King Church when he led the Montgomery bus boycott. I talked to a sister who was a tour guide.
I like
the name. She having a hard time. They said they have a hard time trying to get young folks to come to church. I don't live too far from Tip of Deliverance, Coolicc up here. Church of God of Christ was started in Memphis. A woman was trying to beg me to come to her church. Because they don't have enough younger people at the churches. So
that's because
why they paying these preachers?
People,
they're not reaching young people. They're not reaching young people.
They don't want to reach young people. Young people don't pay. Okay.
But they got to get vaccinated, right? They're trying to vaccinate young people, right?
Yeah.
So why are you overpaying these ministers?
They do. Tomorrow we'll see if our bulldagger mayor signs the legislation B230717. To see if children can be vaccinated without their parents' consent or knowledge. Okay, but by the way, none of the coon preachers here are saying it. These guys, this is a problem.
Are the parents protesting it?
Sister, when I go in on pork chop feminism, because we always hear about the no good Black men that abandon their babies, that don't care, that basically, take women in Humvees to the abortion clinic to kill babies. Where's Black motherhood amid this?
Right.
I'm just saying.
This wouldn't happen in a white neighborhood. The white mothers would not allow the system to dictate to them, dictate to their kids without their permission, because they actually partake in a PTA, invest their money to dictate to the school board what they need and what they want. So where are the parents?
Did you know that the PTA was started by a Black woman in Atlanta, Georgia? Black women started this damn PTA. What's happened?
Right.
What's going on? So most people don't know it's Black women that started the PTA. What's happened to Black women? Now we talk about the Black man being jacked up. What's happened to mothers that they don't care? It's amazing. I don't have kids. I'm going to be in the resistance against the vaccination. This won't be the first time. Last year, they were looking at legalizing prostitution in D.C., pimping, sex purchases, brothel owning. The Black mothers weren't there. I was amazed. I mean, this is a couple of us that was sterile. We were there advocating for children. So, sister, I'm going to just say this to you. What's happened is this black women have been taking down the radical lesbian Aryan female supremacist garden path of feminism. And the only time you can galvanize these people to fight or speak up is when it's attacking black men. It's gotten to the point where heterosexuality, if you promote it, like Kevin Hart or something, you get vilified even by black women. Or the black man who had the restaurant in Texas asking the sisters not to twerk on the tables. And the black women came after this guy like he was a rapist. And we don't hear black women say, wait a minute, broad, what y'all get off the tables? They wouldn't do it in a white restaurant. And if a white cop or someone had beat those broads up, they'd complain. But we never see organized resistance from our sisters when even black women are attacked. And it's amazing. You hear that black men are worthless, they never do anything. Let's say that's true. Then if black women are 100 plus, how could such things be on their watch and their lane? And it clearly says something is wrong. I'll add one more thing. When this woman, Anjanette Young, can have 20 officers kick in her door when she's nude in her own house, innocent, her house be ransacked by cops who film her with no clothes on, and drag a naked black woman off to jail with a black bull dagger mare, and black women aren't trying to pull every piece of strand of weave out of her head for letting that go on. If it had been a black man that he'd been called a fag or something, there'd be some outrage with the failure to do. But when these black women who they've been pushing, like that sumo wrestler looking heifer, Stacey Abrams, or this thing that looks like Arsenio with no mustache who wants to kill the children, Bow Wow, or Bottoms, that tramp in Atlanta, or that monstrosity that looks like Beetlejuice in Chicago. How come black women don't complain about this? And it's them. And that's because they've been brainwashed and conditioned into this conspiracy of silence to circle the wagons around sex. Sometimes it's needed, but they don't circle the wagon around race.
Is it because, well, I'm not going to say is it, but I think part of it is because when you talk about the history of black women and black men, just black people here in America, how they specifically separated the black women from the black man, let's say during slavery, even after slavery with propaganda. And then you talk about the feminist movement coming in, whereas we disconnected from each other. And you do have the white man, Mr. Tristan, Mr. Charlie, giving black women a lane, a path that has nothing to do with the black man. And then you lock up the black men, and then you bring in welfare, right? Which is like, okay, I'm already poor and my man ain't here. He can't find a job. Mr. Charlie won't give him a job, or he's killing him or locking him up. I need to take this welfare. So, and that comes with its own stipulations and stuff like that. So basically with all that going on, all that propaganda that was created to keep us separated. So we talk about 2020 right now, you know, it's all about reprogramming, because I understand what you're saying and I agree with you. But there are a lot of black women who do disagree and who agree with what you're saying, right? But but it's so many, let's just focus on black women. The majority of black women are the opposite of what you're talking about. Whereas
we don't see that. We don't see that. See, we'll acknowledge. I think these other two brothers will acknowledge. If you start talking about black men not paying child support, abandoning kids, beating what, I'm gonna fess up. I'm angry about it. When it comes down to the faults, almost a collective failure of black women, we get silence. We get crickets.
From who? So from other black women?
We're getting crickets in Chicago. With crickets with the Flint. Those are 9,000 poisoned black babies. Where are the Deltas? Where are the AKAs? Where's the National Council of Black Women? The National Congress of Black Women?
But this is what I'm saying. the majority, right? Yeah, where are they? Because that's the majority. Like, I'm not part of that sorority fraternity thing. And when you talk about the AKAs and the Deltas, we are talking about a certain type of Black people, and you have other Black women that want to emulate that.
With all due respect, I'm not a Q and I'm not in the Greek letter, but the Boule and the other people do run our community. They do. Our community is run by these people, by these dogs and dog.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, we're in agreement.
We're in agreement, but I have to say something to you. In the case of Flint, the mayor of Flint was a Black woman, Greek, who stole money while people being poisoned. There's practically no outcry. What I'm saying to you is there is an accountability breakdown in our community on all fronts, but the front where it's something that you might have expected from Black women, the stuff is just in the trash can, way below the doggy do, and no one's talking about it. And it's hurtful and painful with all the stuff that Black women have to deal with. I know it's a problem, but this painful discussion has to be had. And it has to be said that Black women are failing because who's putting the money in the church of these crooked nigger preachers? It's mostly Black females. If you start looking at who shops in the stores owned by the Asians and the Arabs that screw us, somewhere there's supposed to be agency. Harriet Tubman had agency. Sojourner Truth, Rosa Parks, C. Dolores Tucker, Cynthia McKinney had agency. I've seen Black women that fight, but I can assure you, knowing C. Dolores Tucker and knowing Cynthia McKinney, if you talk to them, some of their greatest resistance didn't come from men or white people. It came from a traitorous type of Black woman. And she's a traitor and clear. Hold, let me finish though. The Black women who are in the majority do not attack or criticize those folks because they are female. There is like an oath or an agreement. You can get Black men to go after Africa Bambaataa. We'll go after pedophiles. We don't care how famous, who they are. It's not many. It's a small number. It's a teeny number of Black men. I'm going to say that to you. I would say 95%. Damn, I'm confused. But I'm looking, where is our 5% of the Black women that are going to go to hell, who are going to say, hey, Maxine Waters, you're allowing Black women and children to be on the streets of Los Angeles, and yet you're opening up public housing for illegal residents who don't even belong in this country. If you try to criticize Maxine Waters, I can assure you, even this great group of unified, cool Black women would jump on the Black man for saying something because Maxine Waters is good. We have a sacred cow. The sacred cow is you can't criticize or go in on the weaker or the women in our sex and our crew. And we've got to talk about everybody that's off code, everyone. And I'm not saying all Black women are bad. Certainly my mother, I wouldn't be here if my mother wasn't supporting me, if other folks didn't support me. So we have righteous Black women, but the voices of protest against Kamala Harris, it was mostly Black men that were calling out Kamala Harris threatening to lock up Black mothers. Where is the Black woman voice? We haven't had it since C. Dolores Tucker died.
Let me ask you this question, because I understand what you're saying and I agree with what you're saying, but are you saying that it's really the Black women that's going to save the Black race? And if that is
no.
Oh, okay, well, no, I have another point.
Okay, no. We have to do it together. We need help.
We have to do it together, exactly. So if majority of Black women are not speaking out, not doing what they need to do to reconnect with the Black man, then I have to say, looking at this picture, right, that we're dropping the ball. Black women are just dropping the ball when it has to do with protecting our children, protecting our community. So who is going to pick that ball up? Because the thing is, when we look at society, patriarchy, matriarchy, man, woman, you know, it is the man's job to protect and to lead. And if we're not,
I
if
agree
we're
with
not
you.
doing it,
I agree with you
let me just
100%.
finish this. Let me
I
just
agree
finish
with
my
you.
point. If Black women are not doing it, or Black women, we are failing at it, which we are, then it's Black men is going to really have to come together and form a coalition to straighten things out. But then we have a problem with that, because us, a lot of Black, let's say Democrats that voted for Joe Biden and Kamala, it's a lot of Black men that adhere to what Black women are doing. So then you got to
Right.
pull out that small, not even a good portion of Black men
It's over
that are against them.
50%. It's the majority. I'm not trying to defend. We don't try to defend Black men. We're saying the majority is screwed.
Right.
Sister.
But
So
I'm
no.
like,
So I just want
isn't
the
it the
sisters
Black
to
man that's
admit.
going to have to turn this around because Black women are failing?
Yeah. Well, the Black men, in terms of them not going with Biden, their numbers outstrip Black women 3 or 4 or 5 times. Okay, that's so. Actually, they're coming. And in
Right.
reality, a huge number of Black men, as much as they're described as not caring, a lot of Black men are silent about stuff to show support for Black women because they understand that Black men have failed. We have been failing for 500 years. Collectively, we have failed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and have not protected or haven't done as much as they could do and have been prevented and castrated and blocked from doing, but are aware that there's an attack. But at the same time, no matter how crazy things have been, there's a problem. 1 out of 3 marriages among Black women in America right now are to white men. You have never had a proportion of Black men marry white women like what Black women. And so this, what I call Negro empiricism, is super strong in our community, and it's going to require some sacrificial female leadership that calls women out on this abortion front. Like when they want to kill us with this vaccination, they didn't get a Black male doctor. Understand, somebody knew if we wanted to hurt Black people, use a Black woman. I'm not defending Clarence Thomas or any Black man that's hurt Black people. Sister, I'm with you. I'm tired of the rape, molestation, incest. I got an extended family full of it. I hate it. I do what I can to go against it ever since I knew it existed. But what I want to say to you is that they got that broad kissy. And they brought that out because they understand, because this has been socially engineered, sister,
Mm-hmm.
that criticizing Black women is a taboo in Black America. And that way, if I get a woman doctor out there and she's from this out, they even have the white men like that. We believe the woman. If a woman says she got raped, it's true. Having been accused of raping 2 women I'd never even touched, or kidnapping a white woman, that's God. You'd have to be a Black man to understand, yes, there are men that are horrible to women. I'm not one of them. That they've been weaponizing women through this whole globalist thing. And women confuse empowerment with being masturbated and manipulated to be enemies of their own people. And what I always encourage Black women to do is to investigate France from May of 1940 until June of 1944, when the French women decided they were empowered by the German men coming in. And they ran with the German men while their French men were beaten down, weren't able, everything the women are saying. But you know what? There's a word missing when people talk about Black men. And a lot of Black women are off in cloud cuckoo land. There is a war going on. There's a reason why things aren't working the way that somebody would want. And and the people who are working against us understand that they can disempower men. I heard it increasingly. I really knew there was a problem when I finished graduate school, and every time I went in for a job interview, the people would tell me, "Oh, well, you're a very promising candidate, but there's a black woman," and basically that meant we're not going to hire you. We're punishing all black men to empower black women. I don't blame black women for getting the jobs of the empowerment. Get the money, get the job, but acknowledge, sister, that they may have kicked a black man equal to or better than you for you to get there. Just own that, get your money, move ahead, but understand somebody's being disabled for you to be built up. There is a dishonesty and a deceit when you read publications, where are our men? And they're all in jail, as if black men wrote the laws to go to jail. It's crazy.
Can I say this?
Yes.
I said it earlier before anybody came on. History repeats itself. So what you just laid out, it's been that way since we were born here in slavery. You know, as far as using a black woman to get ahead, black women in any type of empowerment position, she had to kick another black person, as particularly a black man, to get any type of power or empowerment. And also, I do want to say this, to your point and to Mino, and I am going to research French women from 1940 to 1944. I was writing it down. One of the problems with black women, and I'm actually going to have a show this Thursday, me and the judge talking about black women, want to emulate whiteness, which goes, let me just bring up the feminist movement. And that never does, and we have to realize that that never helps us. It actually destroys us. So when you see the black women, when the feminist movement, you know, I guess in the 60s, 70s or whatever, and you saw the black women calling themselves feminists or whatever, we are not the same. It's two different stories, two different backgrounds, two different paths of history, two different walks of life, because even if I call myself a feminist, I'm not. But say if I did, I never had, or my mother or my grandmother never had the opportunity to enjoy the feminine mystique. So all these white women that was saying, yeah, women's rights, women this, and I'm a feminist or whatever, they had rich husbands at home. They were all married. Whereas our man, even if we were married, we were still poor. I still had to work. He still had to work. We were still living in the ghetto, or he was dead, or he was locked up, or I was on welfare. So part of the problem, because there's multiple layers to this, which is the problem, trying to think that me and this white woman are on the same level when our experience from the beginning of this land till currently have always been different. And we always mess up when we try to make ourselves equal to white women. I'm not saying that they are superior than me, but this land was made for them, not for me. So this is why I'm able to not go off course, because I know throughout our struggles here, it's always been the black man and the black women. That's how we survive. But now, when we talk about now, it's as if, no, and we don't need them to survive. But then you have to understand the repercussions that come with that. Now, women throughout the world are treated badly, majority of these cases. But let's just focus here in America when we talk about rape and sexual harassment in the workforce. Yes, that happened and continue to happen in large numbers, and women have always been quiet. But what I started to read, and when men started to speak up, what I started to realize that that happened to a lot of men too, particularly black men, that I didn't think even existed. So when we have this Me Too movement, again, a feminist movement, and you pulling in black women because they use the black women organization and turned it into a global organization, the Me Too movement. Now we see all these cases of men, particularly black men, just getting thrown under the damn bus without any justice. So I say all that to say, to sum it up, we already have what we need to get things done. We fuck
Agreed.
up. We fuck up where we try to emulate white women, and we do.
Well,
And that is the problem.
my thing as millennial with that, because I personally, I'm sick of the women, in particular black women of my generation. Y'all can call me a coon or whatever y'all want to say, but you're right. They do try to emulate white women. They want to be white women or anything that's non-black, and we have to really talk about this abortion thing. We have to talk about this disrespect for masculinity. Yeah, there's some fucked up niggas out there, and it's true.
A
But when I
lot.
look, yeah, but when I
That's
look
what
at
I
this,
say is a lie. It's
when I
not
look at
some.
this generation of women, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Ida B. Wells and Rosa Parks. These are great black women, but we don't have that. And a Martin Luther King could not exist in this culture in this generation right now. So when your womb and her mind and the female nature is fucked up, how the hell can a Malcolm X even be a thought? So when I'm talking this stuff, I'm talking as a 34-year-old to women that are my age or younger. And if it's not about, shaking the ass and getting money and killing niggas and all this coon shit, I'm a oddball. And when you talk about this Asian hair support and all this other kind of mess they do, I mean, they're a lost cause. This is why I tell black men my age, yes, procreate with a woman that looks like you. If she can't get on order, get somebody else, whether she be white, Asian, or whatever. But I'm not personally me. I'm not gonna deal with this shit no more because I didn't done enough of my life, whether it be school, work, respect for women, and I just get slapped in my face all the time. My thing is, we got options, as I always say, but black women, my generation, they want our men to be gay. They want us to be not masculine. They want us to be stupid. Because what women don't like in this generation, they don't want a man that can articulate, that can think for themselves. They want say again.
Are you saying, you said go find someone else? You saying other than black, whether it's white, Asian, Latina?
Yeah, but if a man,
they're just as bad.
I can't hear you.
They're just as bad.
I agree. I'm not saying that the grass. I know that. I'm not saying the grass is green on the other side, but we have to realize too, a lot of black women throughout history, whether it be slavery times, even before that, were getting with white men voluntarily. It wasn't so much about rape and force. Just like today, we have all these bed wenches or secret bed wenches that are getting with white men or Hispanic or Arab men, through huge numbers, but nobody wants to talk about that. It's like Dr. Randy Short's talking about. It's a hush hush on that. But the black male, they'll be in the news. Oh, he likes white women. He's gay. He's in jail. He's stupid. All this kind of shit. But once we bring forth about black women and their issues, oh, it's a problem now. All I want to do in this community is give the balance, right, and heal each other. But this generation of women right here, they're uncoachable. You cannot deal with them. They are devils and they're heathens. I don't care what nobody says. They're dead. That's real walkie talkie.
I mean, you shouldn't be so pessimistic. Like
no, they are. They are. They are.
Because you know what? My son is 22. He want eventually, not no time soon, but when he's older, he's going to have to find a wife and stuff like that. And I told him
he may not be able to find it, and I'm not saying this out of contempt for Black women as a collective, but when I had a sister write me, and they're presentable, you're almost afraid of what you're going to deal with because there's so many different ways that you can get dogged. If they want a relationship and you might like them, but it's not romantic, then they'll get you for that. Or there's so much. We haven't had a real discussion. There's been what the feminists call vagina monologues for 50 years, where it's basically been the talking has been done almost exclusively by women or gay men about relationships. And as a result, I'm not throwing rocks at you or the righteous Black women, but Black American women have the highest rate of divorce of any demographic of women in the country. In fact, maybe 2 to 3 to 4 times that of white women. It's something's amiss here. something.
You're saying black women do?
Yes, because you know what? It's interesting. There's very little introspection for black women, like the women twerking on the table. You will not get white women to attack a white man saying, I love and respect white women. Please be dignified.
Right.
He would be a hero. Those women would, let's destroy this guy for telling us to be our better selves. That was an act of love, not of hatred. The way that they made this man out, he was a monster. I'm saying to you as a teacher, having been a teacher, the amount of disrespect that I would get, it was mind-numbing. Where does all this come from? Because I'm respecting you. I mean, can't you? There is a highly antisocial pulse going through the womanhood in our community, and this is and it needs to be owned and addressed. There is a problem when what 60 some odd % of the babies are aborted, almost 670 or some obscene number, 650, 670 marriages end in divorce. I mean, that's astounding. Somebody, and don't tell me that white men don't beat, rape, abuse, abandon, because they do. What is it that, or Hispanic men are super violent? Why are their families able to stay intact better? And that includes middle class black folks with money. I'm watching one family after the other implode. And the whole, let me finish. The problem often being, let me just say this, because you mentioned they've divided black men and black women, but it also plays out in the courts. If you're a black man and you go in for a divorce or separation, you're going to be shorn. No matter if she's on crack, cheating, all of this, she's going to win, because the system is designed to take down black men. The comment that I keep making on all programs is that every woman, every group of women advocate for their men, whether they're sorry pieces of shit or not. Our women feel that if many black men are full of shit, all black men should be treated in kind. And I'm not saying you do it, but it's what we experience. Brother Ron, I think he has a good heart. He's a good-hearted person. We're not mad. I don't go out with boxing gloves to hit on no black woman, but I can tell you, if I go to the store and it's a black woman cashier, I pray that they don't hurt me or insult me or violate me for having to do a transaction. Black men don't talk about this. If you go to an office for help, you pray to God that the sister's not cruel or mean to you, sight unseen, no matter how you address them. We do not talk about it because part of how black men have been protecting black women is not telling them about themselves. I'm talking about the respectful black men that aren't pimping, that aren't beating, that aren't abandoning, that are not raping. Do not want to hurt the esteem of black women because they've been raped. We understand what's been happening to our women and we care. But the problem, what's happening now is there's a broken covenant. When some men tried to rob me at my metro, 3 or 4 or 5 blocks from my house, and I go and I say, hey, look, I need to talk to someone. They knew on the customer service thing to put a black female on the line. And that way that I would not get any justice, because they understand most of the time, black men, when I'm dealing with that woman, if she's rude or nasty to me, if it were a white woman, I might complain to the manager. If it's a black woman, I say, oh my God, she's a single mother. She'll have no other income. And man, I'm going to just take the abuse because I don't want the children to suffer. A lot of times black women get breaks because black men are, the compassion that black men feel for black women miss. They don't even see. There are a lot of people I could have had fired over the years over things that have been done
and said to me, and I just took it because it said, that sister needs that job. That sister's the only source of income for those kids. She's been hurt. She's been molested. Let me just take the abuse, although she's managed to be nice to everybody but me. And I didn't insult or hurt her. We take these microaggressions from Black women for a lifetime, and we never talk about it. It's hard to hear, but there's a point now where people are sick of it.
Right.
So it used to be I would take no matter how rude or nasty. Now I try to get the broad fired just as if it's a white woman, because someone has to tell people that you must treat everyone with respect. I did not rape you. I did not abandon you. I did not give you AIDS. I'm a person. I'm just saying. And sister, it's too many. It happens all the time. These two brothers, we're not mad at you. We're not mad at Black. We're just telling you, it happens. You know, when I went to get, I had my tooth removed this week. Okay, I had an abscess. I had a root canal. I was told by the Black woman who basically went to lunch when I was sitting in the doctor's office on Monday trying to get my x-rays. Instead of helping me, she went to lunch, and I have an abscess that could have killed me. Sister, I mean, I waited a half hour. I was patient. I didn't go back and say, I'm going to get that person in trouble. But I went to see the doctor because I was in excruciating pain. That sister could hear I was a Black man. I didn't cuss her and say, oh, baby, what's your phone number? I can rock that box. I was trying to get my x-rays. And so I'm in a situation that could be deadly. Mm-hmm. And she went to lunch with me on hold. The person that had to help me, unfortunately, sister, is a white Hispanic woman. God, and this happened this week that just passed. I'm not mad at all Black women. I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying that just happened. I hadn't even told Ron that these things happen all the time. When I needed to get my medical insurance, the Black female messed up, gave me children, put the wrong name. I didn't have medical coverage for a year behind this. I've never said that out loud, okay? Because I don't want to blame the good people like Cynthia McKinney or yourself. But what if I had gotten hurt during those months? Okay, a car hit me. That negligent jackass sister, she would have had her job and everything else, and I'd be dead. That my life matters, okay, just like yours. And that this systemic structural disrespect I witnessed from the time I was a child, even in church, boys are puppy dog tails and crap, and girls are good. And this was everywhere. It's in school. It's all of that. We Black men, by the way, for all the things said bad about us, one way we've protected our women that we don't get any recognition for is we've educated our women more so than any other group of men in the world. It's not counted for. It's not even considered. It's dismissed because it's Black men. So as a result, a whole bunch of these broads going to college. If you've ever been a Black man in a classroom, I sure have. The male teachers who were Black didn't help Black male students. And the Black female teachers preferred females over males. We got that. And the white women hate the Black boys and the white men hate the Black boys. You wonder why Black boys do poorly in school? It's because nobody really likes them. Right. And at the same time, the reason that a lot of the sisters succeed is because and I watched this, girls got better grades. I'm way smarter than girls I know who got A's. I got a B for a boy. So those girls got the scholarships and the awards. They went to college and they end up believing we're superior to Black men, the same way white men are trained to feel superior to white women. And what we need is an equality movement where I'm not trying to be a woman. I believe that Black women and Black men are equal. I will fight and argue with anyone. If you get into my life, you'll find out I will get behind and back a sister in a minute if she's trying to do something for our people, because a real Black man is for Black women. However, what has happened through this pork chop feminism, through this feminism has really almost destroyed Black women. Black women must denounce feminism and even womanism, which is spray painted feminism. It's spray painted Black because they ultimately read the same books. And the reason the womanist movement emerged is that the Black lesbians weren't embraced by the white lesbians. But they still mad at Black men, not the white women that rejected them. I said, what a kick in the head. Yeah. It's time for Black women, the same way you could have the Million Man March, and you got at least 1 million Black men to say, we fucked up. We need to be better people. Even if we never did anything after the day people took the pledge. When the Black women had their march, did they say, we're sorry for killing babies? We're sorry for being... No, there was no introspection that there's something that Black women could do better, because Black women just have it together. They just need Black men to get themselves right, get money, and marry them so they can have families that they don't really want. The Million Woman March, in fact, I work for one of the Million Woman March people, and she's in the witchcraft, polyandry, male hatred. It's a male-hating spectacle, and Black men were cool. Black men didn't complain. When the when Black men were having this Million Man March, Black women were on TV attacking it. When Black women had the Million Woman March, Black men gave props and were quiet. And it's what I'm trying to say to you, sister, is that the Black woman, many of them, are basically redneck white dudes with brown skin and vaginas instead of our sisters. What's happened to them? And I'm not saying
right. So I would like to rebuttal what you're saying a little bit, because first of all, Dr. Short, Randy Short, I subscribe to your channel. So yes, you are very long-winded, like the judge, and I have to write down so I won't forget. But I'm not contesting nothing that you said, but I will say this. What you repeatedly said, Black men have been quiet. Black men sat and let it go, run by. And what I'm saying is, because, Black women have not taken responsibility. Black women have not taken responsibility. Black women have been behaving badly. But who's going to save this race right now, 2020 going forward, is the Black man. So stop being quiet. But at the same time, a lot of these young Black men, Coolicc, how you say your name? Coolicc. Your generation and younger don't know how to be a man because you didn't have nobody to teach you how to be one. So where are you learning? Learning from women, Black women and white women, or from the white man, which is not going to teach you how to be a man, so you don't know how to stand up. You don't know how to stand up and speak up for yourself or organize and form a coalition. Because I would say this about women in general, particularly Black women. If men, say if it's a row of 10 men, right? Alpha men, strong-headed, professional, good look, whatever. Women are going to adhere to your terms if she wants to be with you. It's just that you don't have any. You don't form coalitions. You get on YouTube, and I'm not speaking about no one specifically here, or I'm talking about in general. You go on YouTube and you create these toxic atmospheres like a manosphere or SYM, whatever, and you shit on Black women, right? Which means instead of complaining about Black women and saying that white women are better or Latina women are better, you need to be talking about how can I improve myself.
We've done.
Let me finish. My counterpart, how can I make money? Because if you don't have any economic empowerment, you can't really do anything else. And if Black men come together, even though you are not the majority here or whatever, but if Black men come together, separate from women, all women, and just come together and form a coalition to get your shit together. Because we dropped the ball. Dr. Short just laid it out. It's up to you to save our race. But your focus.
Hey, brother, now she's making good case.
Right,
This is my disagreement I have.
Let me just say this, and I'll let you go, Coolicc. And white women are not better. So I'm not going to tell my son, go outside your race. No, because that white woman or that Latina, they're more vicious. White women don't love white men. They just know the white man is in control of this country. They hold the power. White women is about power. They're trying to find a way to X out the white man if they can. They may not succeed it. It's a book. They Were Her Property, which laid out that white women would divorce their husbands if they know they could keep all of their riches. Like, and I haven't even read that complete book yet. So when I see white men saying, "Well, we're gonna have to go outside," go, and you're going to be destroyed. Not only are you going to end up having your balls cut off, you're not going to even have a dick. Like, they're gonna get your seed and then kill you off. So what I'm saying,
I'm
no,
gonna say,
This is my disagreement with that. I did
No, I
not
wasn't
say I
finished.
did not say black men. I didn't
another minute,
say
I'll let
I didn't say it was
What I'm saying is,
green or grass on the
if you
side.
want to succeed, black men in this country, in this world, in this time, because you have Indians, you have Africans from other countries coming over here, you even have the Mexicans. They come here, they're about their business. They're about making that money, right? Because they know if they have that economic empowerment and that education and that coalition behind them, you have people that come from a country, a shithole country, and they come here and they succeed because they understand this system. Fuck women. That's their mentality, because they know the women's going to be there after they make their money or handle their business. That's why they always stay in control. That's why the family in other countries are intact, because the women know, I got to deal with him because he's holding all the power and he has the coalition behind him to keep him in that position of power. And they're going to go wherever they need to go to make sure that they could gain more access, more power, more resources. Black men are not doing that. And yes,
Diana, you are 100% right. And the thing I have to say, because I have for the last few months been on pork chop feminism because of my concern about Black women becoming the face of electoral fraud, which would make Black women the targets of white violence. And that's a concern. But let me get to my issue. You're correct. Black men, forgive me, I say this. Black men use the word bitch because they the biggest bitches out here. We have had 500 years of hard lessons of learning that we Black men have to band together. And I'm not talking about screwing each other in the booty. Okay, you're 100% right. We have developed a manhood that I call brother fucker culture, where we fuck over other Black men and we think it's cool. We're not unified. We don't come together, and as a result, that adds to the confusion in our women, and it creates a situation that is ridiculous. So I complain about this bitch, petty ass, chump ass. I call it social faggotry, where Black men won't come together to unite and to protect ourselves. I've asked this question for almost 30 years, sister. I would ask, what's the largest multi-city gathering of Black men in the United States? And normally there would be no response. And they would guess, and they would guess, and they would guess. And I says, look, let's stop. Black Gay Pride Day. And my question was, why is it that men could meet in dozens of cities around sucking dicks, eating bowel movement, screwing each other in the behind, but we can't meet to save our women and babies? We can't save our communities. It's all about big dick or ass. It's never anything elevated on a more serious level. And part of this is a problem that the Black man is, I don't know, he's caught up in the fact that he has a penis. I mean, thank God I got one, but you know, it's not going to pay the bills or put bricks in the wall if it falls down. It's something that God gave me. It needs to be used for the procreation of my people, as well as the lovemaking to my woman. But it is not the only part of me. Black men have had a slumming manhood that just deals with sports, sex, and small things. And I will say this to you, sister, where women could help us is the women need to stop fucking low-life Black men. An illiterate, trashy Black dude, pussy should be as rare to him as platinum in the hands of a homeless person. But I'll tell you something. These women fuck these sorry, no good men. They're the most sexed up. Their brooms are always dusted. And as a result, there is a white society that incentivizes mediocrity and this bullshit brother fucker culture. And then black women come and make babies with the sorriest niggas that ever had nut in their scrotum. And it's absolutely despicable, because we have to talk about this no good pathological black male culture where dude can shoot his own brother in the head over a Cheerio, but yet if the cops were beating his mother half to death, he calls 911.
Yeah, well, I was going to say what I was saying to what Dana was saying. I'm not promoting or saying black men should or have to or should get with white women or whatever. Why am I saying that? What's the psychosis behind that? Why would one say that? I'm an educated black man. I got 2 master's degrees. I'm dealing with a certain type of black woman or a certain group I want to deal with. I'm saying these heifers are crazy in my generation with this education, with this power, with this feminism. Nobody's checking them. They don't have any consequences. They can do anything what they want to do. They can say, they can treat their own mamas disrespectfully, and nobody checks them. They can do anything they want to do. But the minute a black man says something, or if I say something bad to another black man, I'm gonna get my head blown off. I'm gonna get in a fight. There's a consequence. Women of today, I'm talking about these millennials and beyond that, don't have any consequences. They can do what the fuck they want to do, and nobody checks them. So this is why I say in these little IG posts I put with my 25 followers on my social media, I say this generation of black women are going to single-handedly kill the black race with their abortions, with their demonic Jezebel attitude, with their ignorance, with their lust for white men, Arab men, Chinese men,
and
whatever.
White women.
Yes.
And white women.
And
They really like them. They like them more than we
women.
brothers do.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
I would never. A woman is never going to kill my son off. I told my son, don't you ever bow down to a woman. I don't care if she's black or whoever.
Well,
see, it's up to
to
lay down the law and know what he wants. You got to know what you want to get what you want.
I know what I want.
A lot of men don't know what they want.
Yeah, but sister, they do know what they want. They've been told that they have to get pussy. Pussy makes them a man. A pussy's a lot like air and water for the brothers. They've been told, even by the mothers, you better get yourself some. I've heard this in church. The men are not taught education, character, get pussy. Just get it. I mean, from wherever. Get it from the little teddy bear. Put a hole in it. Hump on it until you get a real body. I mean, black men have been, as black women have been brainwashed into being overly sexualized in such a way that only sex matters. I'll tell you a story. When I was a student at Howard, these guys went to a party. I didn't go. And this guy got with this girl and he reached into her crotch and was feeling her private parts. He could feel warts. He could feel pustules on the girl's vagina on the outside. God knows what's in. It could be a big rat trap. Do you know that man had sex with her anyway because he knew he could boast to his friends that he liked pussy so much? He'd put his penis in an infected woman, and that would make him a superhero. Because black men are trained, worship pussy, get the pussy. If you can't get them in the booty, screw them in the ass. I mean, get a blowjob.
But a lot of these males have no guidance.
No, they don't have any guidance, but they do get sexual guidance.
Yeah.
Television, cartoons, music says fuck, and keep fucking. And as long as you're fucking, you're okay. And then there's porn. So if the black man grows up in the one thing he has is his big dick and everybody wants it and he should just be like a super soaker of humanity. Sometimes men too. And by the way, these guys are growing up in homes with no males. That means mama and grandma and other people. I've seen women sexualized with children, even in church. Oh, he's fine. They're going to screw him when he gets 10. I mean, you're saying this to him when he's 3 years old in church. And it's a big woman with the big sombrero church hat with the puffy sleeves, and they're sexualizing the kids. at 2 and 3, and no one says anything. It's the same way if a boy is molested, and a huge number of black men are molested. A white woman was grooming my brother and I to be molested in 1970. And I think that's probably why I can't get into white women. Just that some white woman trying to screw me when I'm 5. My God. I don't like them too much. I'll pass. But a lot of brothers, if someone had been touching on their penis when they're 7, when my brother was 8, I mean, all these people were lucky, man. People want to like give them baseball cards and shit. What was it like? Black boys are treated like they're men sexually, literally from birth.
And
Instead
they've
of,
always been that way, correct?
I understand, but we have to stop it.
Right.
All of us have to stop. Black men have to get out of this culture of boasting about all the people that they have fucked or screwed or impressed. I think we have and I'm not talking about the millennials for the brother, but the older generations, the boomers and other black men, they've been some sorry niggas because they've not corrected some of these moral, ethical defaults and defects in our collective. And a black man needs to be defined more about his character than how many inches he has or how his balls make holes in his pants. Okay, this needs to transition. And by the way, now the women are as sexual and wild, if they haven't always been, as black men are. And to some degree, they're worse with no checks. When I was teaching in school, the girls raped one another in the girls' room. That was not wrong. That was okay. If a boy pinched a girl on the behind, the cops would come in and take this boy to jail. But a girl can grab another girl's titty, attack her, do this, and there's no consequence. A lot of these black women that this brother is making reference to have come up in an environment that black girls rock, and whatever girls want to do is okay, it's right, and no one talks about it. You even see it in church. A man speaking, some woman starts to get up yelling and screaming and disturb the whole thing. You don't see men do that no matter how holy they are. There have been the big $5 word is emoluments. We black people have received payoffs in our inferior position. One of those emoluments has been to be wild, perverse, deviant, excessively sexual. And you have to understand the Nation of Islam, no matter how whorish those people are when they get home, when they project something on the street, they project a type of puritanical, and the same thing that used to happen in Pentecostalism, my tradition. I mean, you didn't dress a certain way. You didn't do that. You didn't flash. We've lost God. I don't care who don't like it. We need God at quick, fast, in a damn hurry. And I'm not talking about this weak stuff where these coon preachers take your money for 100 years, and when you get set out, those folks can't send you a Valentine's Day's card. We need an active, true, ethical, moral, ethical reformation in our community where we protect our women and girls and our boys. We correct women when a woman's a slut and she accuses a man of rape. Like I got accused of harassing a student when I was teaching, and thank God those sisters, Sister Dana, God bless the sisters at Lane, who said, we know Dr. Short, and we know that this woman wants him to screw her and he won't do it. Yeah, because the woman looked like Frankenstein with the weave. I mean, I'd be nice to you. That the sisters protected me. They could have said, yeah, they could have done a little pork chop feminist thing and said, yeah, he did it. We have to protect each other. That comes with a belief in absolute rights and wrongs. Our ancestors had the 10 Commandments and some other things. And you know what? Whether white people practice them or not, if we had a law or a code that we conformed to and we enforced with penalties and sanctions, our community would turn around in 365 days. It is not impossible for us to turn this around. And I want to say to you, sister, I don't advocate black men running after other women, but I will say to you, if I ever thought or had questions about my manhood, I have it in America because I have such odd relations with many women with their odd behavior. But when I go down to Brazil, I know I'm a man. And it's not
Why do you know you're a man if you go to Brazil?
because the black women down there who really catch hell, who get rejected by black men who run after white women the way that black women lie and say black men here run after white women. You meet professional, educated black women who've never had a date. So if you halfway speak to them and you're respectful, before you know it, you're in that person's house. And I'm not talking about necessarily for sex, but for dinner. You have friends for years. I had more female friends down there, and I'm not talking about people I'm trying to sleep with, because they could tell if you were smart. Now, this brother's saying something that a lot of black women don't like to hear, but I want to speak to it. Black men that are bright, that think, that are articulate, are passed over by black women. Even at Harvard, the women I remember from Leverett House at Harvard were screwing the guys in the Cambridge projects, but would not give sex to black guys in the same first #1 rated university in America. These are black girls went to the ghetto to get some back alley dick, but they wouldn't even talk to somebody at the university that they attended.
Oh my God.
Sister, when I would walk across campus, if a black woman saw me, she would turn her face and run to avoid having eye contact with you. I've never done that to black women. It blew my mind. What did we do? So there's a lot of hatred for educated, bright black men in our community. It's a problem. And I'm going to just say this to you, the same way that they call the kids white and gay in school, black men that are well-educated, that like books. I remember trying to crack on a girl I liked in the 12th grade, and she had a message sent to me, I didn't like girls. And I says, how did they get that conclusion? And the answer was, you like books. A lot of black women have homosexualized, bisexualized, and asexualized intelligence in black men. And when those black men get to college or get to other places, the white women, the Asians, and the Latinas practically rape the black men. And these are conversations that black women aren't privy to because they don't have it with you. A lot of women in other communities think that black American women are fucking insane in terms of how they pick men. I'm not saying that these women have any grounds to judge, but this is a conversation. I would see white girls come up and start talking about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King to pull a black dude, and see a black dude try to talk to a sister about black studies. Again, get away from me, faggot. So all of the
well, I don't agree with you on that.
I have to.
I don't have to, and that is your experience. But my
experience too.
My experience, because I received that same type of treatment from black men. Or you act white, or you this, or the so-called nerdy black guy in a college. They run after white women because they trying to run after that power. So when I don't sit up here and say black men doing more bad shit than black women or vice versa. Black people as a whole, we have a dysfunction mentally going on.
I agree with you.
I never will give any dirty feet women from another country more credit than I do black women here in America. Because all of them, yes, I will say this, dirty feet. That's what I call them. If you from the Philippines, women come over here, they do
about the Philippines. I'm talking about black. I'm about to give more examples. Brazilian women aren't dirty feet.
Better than all black people, black men and black women, especially black women.
Our folks in the diaspora, it's not fair to. I'm sorry, sister. A black woman from another country, I wouldn't call a black American woman dirty foot, and I don't call sisters in Brazil dirty feet.
Okay, well, I do.
But you do. But I'm going to say to you, sister, just for point of reference, it is not that I'm making anybody superior to anybody else, but I am saying to you, the brothers that go down, my friends that are getting married, they're getting married in the Dominican Republic, they're getting married in Brazil. These are brothers who aren't into white women. And so that means they want a black woman.
If you love her and she respects you, that's your life. Go ahead, marry her.
That doesn't mean she doesn't have dirty feet.
Let me finish my point. Let me get my point out what I'm trying to make here. Because The problem that I have, you could marry, you could love who you and be with whoever you want to be with. The problem that I have when it comes to Black people, when you say one is better than the other, a Brazilian, an Asian.
I didn't say they were better. I said they were receptive. They are. They're not into
Black men,
feminism.
and this is what they are saying, especially in the younger generation. My daughter, she is not married to a Black American man. He is Egyptian. I love him, no, but he treats her well, right?
Okay,
so
and we're not unhappy.
They're not.
Go ahead and finish a point, Dr. Short.
The fact is that I have a problem if you are a Black woman, if you are a Black man, and you're saying that somebody else is better. If you love that person because they treat you good, fine. But if you like that person, or you seeking out other because you think your race of women are not good, or race of men are not good, and you think someone is better, that is the problem. Because you could go to Brazil. Majority of those women in Brazil, Dominican, they don't have money, and they love, first of all, they love American men. And they love Black American men. Yes, we have the gold card. As a Black woman, I could go to any country and the men would be all over me because I am American. So these women, yes, they are educated, but they see money. They see a good looking man. They see you sexually. They stereotype you because we are stereotyped worldwide. Black Americans are stereotyped. So there's no other women that's better than me. There's no other man that's better than a Black American man. So when you start on that basis, Black men that I see on social media and in real life saying, well, Brazilian, the Dominicans, they're more easier, go to them. But you cannot win the argument with me saying that someone else is better. We have our problems just like they have their problems.
They're not better, but when you say collegial, cooperative, yeah, we've got a challenge here. Okay, if you have women who come from a matriarchal family that are type A females, where she needs to be a CEO at Microsoft, and she has to get a dude from UPS so she can feel in control. All right, and we have this situation. Oh, yes, we do. There is better. There is better in terms of mindset. For example, if a person considers it robbery or criminality to take care of children or to cook or to be a mother even, then yes, one woman can be better than a man the same way a man can be better than another man. A man that won't work, that won't clean up, that is a bad father is inferior to a man who's the opposite. What this brother's describing, like, I wouldn't want to marry or have children to marry anyone that would twerk in a restaurant or do all this other kind of stuff. We do. And this is what, there's a book by, I think his name is Dr. Oliver Horton. Horton, I'll have to get the book for you. One of the things that happened after slavery that many of our people are not aware of is that there was a serious effort by the church and community organizations all over the country to try to help men and women rediscover their femininity and their manhood. Frederick Douglass talked about manhood. Judge Joe Brown talks about manhood. There is a lack of femininity in a lot of the women, and some of it is chemical. One part of it is that when you put people on birth control, I don't know if you're understanding this, but biochemically, our young girls are assaulted when you put them on birth control. Birth control pills hurt the pheromone production, making women less attractive to men. Scientifically, they did this. This is why they put these kids on birth control early. And by the way, a lot of boys aren't attracted to girls, think they're gay because the women aren't producing the sex attractants that attract them. So when we have a population that aborts heavily, and I mean, they're eating birth control pills like M&Ms, there are biochemical things that happen where men aren't attracted. This is why you can go into an area and you can see a woman who weighs about 400 pounds. She's down in Memphis with Ron Hurd, and she's got kids by every man in the community. The men are attracted to this woman who doesn't use birth control and don't know why. So there are a range of things that are happening that would make someone unappealing. Aside from that, drugs like Depo-Provera make women mean, aggressive, suicidal. And this is pushed heavily. And by the way, because I'm an anti-Depo-Provera activist, when we went to our sisters, like I went to Maxine Waters, we were turned away to say, don't let them kill and poison and give breast cancer to our women. So we black men do have to stand up and lead. I'm in full agreement with you. I would say that when someone finds a feminine, loving, caring, Protestant, Black American woman who loves
Protestant.
Black men, yes, I'm being funny.
Okay.
See, now look at her, she's gonna get mad. When they find a righteous Black woman that loves Black men, loves herself, she's not gonna let no man punch her out like she's a sparring partner for, for Muhammad Ali. When you find a Black woman like that, as rare as they are to find, they're very rare, trust me.
Very.
You found the best woman that anybody could find, but the system is working to eliminate our ability to discover such women. So when I made a reference to Brazil, I didn't go down to Brazil to meet women. I went down to Brazil because I was concerned about Black children being murdered by the police. And my prediction from 1995 was that that system would then come to America where police would begin to openly murder Black people. And this is what happened. I happened to meet Brazilian women down there and try to figure out what is going on, because if I speak to someone, they don't get angry. If I don't put my hands or paw or say anything too aggressive, if you say hello, whatever, they'll say hello back. I know what it's like here. I'm not trying to grope you. I just greeted you because I'm from the South. You speak to people. And to have folk get angry, growl at you, sneer for you speaking, you learn to not talk to folks in order to avoid being misunderstood. The people who've come up under this culture, sister, and a large number of them, male and female, are antisocial and they've been misdirected. They've been engineered not to be able to create a family unit. This is not an accident. This wasn't always like this. Something's happened to us. We've been attacked, and part of fighting off the enemies is to understand how we've been wounded. Because even though Black men are not happy with the prospects, because we never talk about it, we only hear about women being unhappy. 30% of us don't marry outside of our group. It's interesting that for all of the talk, Black men have more or less continued to try to work with. Now, this
80% of Black men marry within their race. They marry another Black woman.
Yeah, well, but Black women are marrying white. I mean, this
But
is
the
really
majority of Black women marry Black men. We marry each other, majority, at least
the majority.
80%.
It's not 80%.
I
It's
have it in
70.
the stats.
It's 70. It's really picked up. In fact, it's very, very high. The number of Black women
Well,
marrying
I don't know. I
white
have this
men.
book, and it gave me those numbers.
Staying with the data.
What's hold on. Hold on. Where
Black
is
stats?
the what?
Oh,
I can't see it. The
I'm sorry.
screen is so small.
Black stats.
Black stats. What's the addition?
Well, they're probably due when it came out. I think it was like 2016 or 15.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that must be stuff from the 2010 census.
Right.
Oh,
So the new
oh,
census didn't come out yet.
it's changing, sister. It's changed.
But
Let
then
me,
they changed theirs less than 50%.
No. Well, I didn't say. I said 30. I didn't say 50. I didn't say most Black women marry others, but I said a significant number. The Black women marrying white is much, much greater. I think it's 3 times that of what Black men do with white women.
Right.
That's all. So when all is said and done, as bad and no good as we all are, spreading AIDS, being DL, we still stay home. And it's the folks who claim that they can't find us that are running after Jethro from the Beverly Hillbillies. That's just what's happening. And it's amazing. I'm not saying that there aren't white men that don't treat Black women good. And I'm not saying that there aren't white women that don't treat Black men good. I would prefer, personally speaking, that Black men marry Black but it doesn't have to be restricted to the United States. The diaspora's been good to me. I happen to like the way sisters look in Guinea-Bissau, jet black. I don't see people walking down the street that look like what I want. But it doesn't mean that I don't like sisters, and it doesn't mean that this brother doesn't like sisters. Martin Luther King said, wherever you hear great discontent, there's great love. So this dude here is mourning. He should be a blues singer.
Black women.
He's so hurt. I mean, he's been hurt. There's some black men who've been hurt out here, and they don't talk about it.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like in this generation, it's taboo to say that. That's why I say if I didn't care, I would get white. I won't even be on this thing right now. My thing is, I want to continue and have somebody that looks like me, a daughter or a son or both. But if the black women, my generation, because y'all understand it, but really, I'm in the fight. I'm with these crazy women and dealing with dudes that are in my age group or younger. They're crazy. So when I'm saying that they should go out into a different race, honey. Well, yeah. Well, what I'm saying when they should go to a different race, I'm saying because we got to continue this race somehow. Now, does that weaken it? Sure. I'm not saying the white woman is bad or whatever. I want to marry and procreate with a black woman. But if she's hard-headed, and can't go to program, wants to compete with me, because a lot of black women in my, if you will, circle that are educated, got jobs, right? They got teeth in their fucking mouth. They want to compete with me. But when they get a white man, they don't compete with
submissive.
They keep be on cold saying, I love black women. I want to be with black women, but they don't act right. I'm gonna go be with a white woman. That's not being on cold.
Well,
if you want a black woman and you want to be with a black woman, then you have to sit up here and lay down a law. She gonna come. You gonna find the right one.
She's there, but I'm not gonna deal with no shit. I know that.
We'll just go to Brazil. We'll all just go to Brazil. We won't fight. We surrender. We'll surrender. I'll get some of them dirty feet. I want them dirty feet.
Dirty feet. Real, and it's not protect all black women. It's protect certain black women. I'm tired of these Megan Thee Stallions and all these thug nigga fat weave wearing nigga bitches talking about protect their ass. I would never let my son lay his life down for no goddamn Cardi B. Fuck that bitch.
You really speak your mind, brother Coolicc. Really say what you really mean.
I'm tired of this shit. And black women sit back.
The manager of Chick-fil-A will defend them.
Let me say this. I've been very, patient and quiet, but I want people to do this. Cause I saw it this morning. Check out Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Check that out. Yeah. It's amazing because it shows the issue. Like Brother Coolicc talk about run that ball. The strongest people on the planet do not run the planet. The strongest people, like the strongest, most powerful people in football can't bench press 500 pounds like that. They're not the most powerful people. The black man's the strongest thing on the planet. Creative genius, strong, powerful, but you do not control your destiny. Like even in that movie, in that play, August Wilson is a genius because he shows how, regardless if you're a man, how old you are as a black man, you're not considered a man. You consider a boy. But it's funny because you look at Tamir Rice and Emmett Till and Mike Brown and Trayvon Martin, they were teenagers, but they were men. But you're not allowed to really be a real man, but they make you mannish. You a threat. So it's something about black men. We're not allowed to be men. We're just males, or worse yet, we're boys. I remember my maternal grandfather was in World War II. He was a part of Red Ball Express. One of the first people to call him a boy when he came back home to Mississippi and all that stuff was an 80-something-year-old black man, Pullman porter. It hurt him so bad for a black man to call him a boy that's 80-something years old and he just served this country. The disrespect that black men and black people show each other because we're not allowed to fully mature into adults. We are in a state of arrested development. It's been like this for a long, long time. And therein lies the problem. So a black woman, nobody can serve two masters. So the white man, this is a patriarchy system in favor of the white male. So the white man is the boss and he got the resources, he got the power. So it's interesting to note because I'm in Memphis, like Dr. Short said, black women, everywhere I go, black women are the gatekeepers. Whether it be the IRS, at the grocery store, anything, or housing. I got to deal with black women that a lot of times are very disrespectful towards black men. And then, like, I go outside to the gas station or to a dang chicken restaurant, it's broken black males, young and old, begging me for money for a chicken dinner. I don't see a lot of homeless black women. I see a homeless black male.
They're there.
Megan.
I never want to sit up here and say that. I never want to sit up, and I agree with what you're saying, but I never want to sit up here and say, well, I don't see a lot of black women, homeless black women, but they are. It looks different. That's why we kind of miss it. But you're absolutely right. And also, let me just say this about black men that for a very long time that I didn't think existed, because at the end of the day, you're still a man, right? With this patriarch society, to where when we look at the workforce, and that could be like another show to actually break down, another YouTuber, he always brings to my attention a hard time that black men are having in corporate or just in the workforce. So my previous job, because I worked for corporate for health insurance for 20 years, and we always have to take these quarterly training courses or whatever. And I came across, apparently, there are more men, particularly black men, that are sexually harassed in the workforce than women.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off.
This was in, wait a minute, let me finish.
I'm about to go. I don't mean to cut you off here. I'm about to go on my other thing here. Brother Ron, thanks for having me on here. Maybe we can do this again and all that. But lastly, I just want to say that, like I said, I'm promoting to have everybody, black, male and female, heterosexuality, none of that other weirdo stuff, to have marriage, to have balance, and have kids. But women of today lack accountability, they lack looking in the mirror, and they lack the truth. And if she cannot get on that, and I'm talking about black women in particular, she will kill this race, and it will be her fault. Thank you, Brother Ron, for having me on here. I'll be on the doc. If y'all want to join me on Dr. Phil Valentine, come to Coolicc. Peace out, y'all.
It ain't gonna be our fault. It's gonna be your fault. But anyway,
go ahead.
What I realized is black men are being more harassed in the workforce than anyone else.
Right.
No one never talked about it. That was 2019 when I took the training course. That statistic came up, and I'm like, this is really? I didn't really believe it. So going back to what Dr. Randy Short said about black men being quiet, you can't afford to be quiet. You can't afford to sit up here and complain about black women. You just can't afford to. And I say this because I am a mother to a black man, and he's 22, so he's in that crazy ass generation, right?
Yeah.
To whereas my generation and the generation before that failed them, and then you have all this different stuff. Since people are religious, Babylon going on, all these different labels, everything that's going on with the vaccinations, with the COVID, with politics, with the economy, with everything. When you talk about immigration, you have people from all over the world. Globalization, that's the word. With this globalization that is going on, no, you don't have the luxury to sit up here and complain about black women. And I get it. But I just said, we dropped the ball. You're absolutely right. What are you going to do? And black men in general, they have a problem with that because they don't have an answer. So they're going to talk shit about, you don't know what you're talking about. I see them in the chat. And for the record, Dr. Randy Short, I'm ghetto. Yes, honey, I am very feminine. I am sexy. I am intelligent, but I am ghetto. And I wanted to say something so bad to some people in this chat, but I'm like, it's not about them. But that's exactly my point. You are so upset.
Trolls need love too, though. Trolls need love.
No, it's trolls. But you so upset because you could disagree with me. But because I'm a woman and you disagree, I don't know. But the fact is that, you could blame black women. Okay, after you blame them, then what? You need to have a plan. You need to do something. You need to take action.
You need to be ghetto. I'm always for women protecting themselves from assaults, whether it's from a black man, from a black butch, from just a jealous hater. I cut your face.
Like this dude, Aunt P, you're right. She's being emotional. Okay.
I don't think, actually, I want to give you kudos because for being a righteous sister and for being a sister that one can just talk to. Because we black men, we even used to make songs where we would go, black men would say, and black women and men, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, right? And the man would sing, you ain't nothing but a bear cat. And we had these conversations, you ain't nothing but a bear cat. You're from Memphis, Brother Ron Hurd. What's his name? The one that did the funky chicken, Rufus Thomas, you ain't nothing but a bear cat, was his response to
Big Mama Thornton's You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. And when Hank Ballard said, "Work with me, Annie," the woman, forgive me, what's her name? The Beyonce played her in Cadillac
Etta
Rap.
James. Etta James.
Etta James sang
Mm-hmm.
"Roll with Me, Henry."
Mm-hmm.
We've always been able. Marvin Gaye did "I Heard It Through the Grapevine." He did his version. Gladys did hers first. We've always been able to talk to each other until feminism and political correctness came along. And I want to thank you. And I agree with you. You said something. It is true that Black women that are highly intelligent, that aren't for bullshit, get passed over. This is true. We are a cotton candy, a toxic cotton candy culture where shallowness and superficiality and surface versus substance gets the preference. And so I can tell you, sister, you don't even have to be a woman. You can just be a brother. Everybody claims that I have a gift at comedy and being funny. And but one of the most shocking things that happened to me is people who I'd talked to for years visit my apartment when I was a student at Howard. And when they got into my unit, when they saw all the books in my room and documentary films, they had a meltdown and I lost them. They never were friends to me again. I was never allowed to have another conversation. And it was shocking to me that these Black men let my little library scare them. They were afraid of me. I couldn't believe it. They would no jokes, nothing. No, you a smart nigga. We thought you were dumb like us. No, you've infiltrated our ignorant Black male, just pussy and sports, nothing else culture. And so in order for me to not lose friends, I put up pictures of marijuana and the chronic and all on my wall. So I wouldn't be excluded, expelled. Because the people would look in my room to try to find out African pictures, art, nothing. But when they saw the chronic, the marijuana, and Biggie, okay, he's all right. So I'm just trying to say to you, it blew my mind that they didn't me being intelligent, the punishment was complete exclusion and isolation. In fact, they went and told people, "Oh, that nigga's smart."
I said to Brother Ron, I think I was on King BJ show and I mentioned you and I said, I really want you to go on this guy's YouTube show and we're cool. His name is Minister Jab. He called women, particularly Black women, German shepherds. He's talented, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as getting the views, and you talking about Black men or just men, period, they dump money at him. It may be, so he has his pulse, let's just say, on what is happening now, the generation now, how to reach the men now.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the intellect, the experience to help them understand why this is going on, because they don't have the why, right? He just talks about what's going on and breaks down Black women, and he does make a lot of great points. He does use the B word too much. I don't like the fact that
I love the B word.
Right,
Beautiful.
He does, and he has his whole series of German shepherds, but he does make good points. It's just that what do you call it? He just needed he needs someone like you to bring it together. And I said, and I told him, I said, I think you need to have this man, Dr. Randy Short, on your show, because he called women, Black women, pork chops to feminists. He was like, oh my God, I love it. So I kind of do want to make that connection. I was seeing a couple of his YouTube videos. It's just, so what you just explained, that's exactly what is going on. You know, when we're talking about social media, and that's why I zone in. I'll talk to my son a lot, because my daughter, she's married, and you know, her husband, he's Egyptian, and even though they're young, it's the culture that he came from. and where it's about family and stuff like that. So when my son, I do talk to him more because I want to know what's going on in his world, because he's not going to tell me. You don't tell your mother stuff. But this generation needs to be connected to your generation, because you have the answers, but they have the resources that are reaching millions of Black males.
Mm-hmm. Well, can I share something with you? I'm open to that. You just be surprised, that very thing I said to you. A lot of people, I know of one guy who begged one person in New York, I think the name is SETI, for 5 years to interview me once. And there are places that you'll find that Black men can be catty and bitchy, and they'll be competitive.
Yeah.
If a person has the abilities that you say that you think I have, that might intimidate someone, and then them not want you around, because then people will follow me, not them. There's a competitiveness among Black men that is, like I said, it's bitchy. And I use the B word, and I use it, Ron knows, for men and for women. I mean, if it applies, I mean, if you're pissing on a hydrant, you're a bitch. Okay? And it's just plain and simple. I mean, if you're barking and spreading fleas and making bowel movements on the sidewalk, you're a bitch. Okay, I don't care if you have a penis. In fact, I especially don't care if you have one. Don't show me it. Anyway, look, what is needed, we have another divide. We have a digital and content divide. I don't know how to do all this tech stuff. We can bring the information. A lot of young people are arrogant that they're so good at this is stuff that you come up with. It's introduced, it's made for you, you name it. A lot of us, we were on computers before these people were born. Okay, but we don't have this digital. So as a result, a lot of the people have content, but it doesn't make it to the people who have mastered the digital form. This new cyber thing, it doesn't connect. And the younger folks, they're slumming. No disrespect, they slum. And they don't want it to be too elevated. I mean, even on my platform, if I speak for like an hour or two and there's not one expletive, the numbers go down. God forbid. God forbid if, and I've had people complain, you have good content, but you use foul language. And I'm thinking, that's the only way to reach my people. Once I stop doing that, the numbers drop. So what do? So we keep it real, Brother Ron. I know. So we deliberately talk the common language of the people so they'll hear you and you reach them. But I'm wide open. Sister, I'd like to do a show. I wanted, in fact, we should do it. I've been trying to get a sister that would be a co-host for us to talk about Black men and Black women. And that way, I don't have a problem kicking a Black man in the ass. Okay, I'll just tell you quickie. There was a guy who was living with one of my classmates at Howard, and she was worried about him, and I had him come and visit me, and he was just telling me what a bitch she was, this, that, and the other. And I basically asked him, are you giving her any rent? Are you dropping any pipe? Do you clean up around the thing? And all these things were no. And I asked all this stuff. So she was giving him 100, he was giving her 0. And I said to him, you're a fucking bitch. I'm glad I don't have a pussy. I wouldn't put you out my door. I'd throw you out the window.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to help you find a job, and you can get the fuck out of her space. And what kind of nigga are you that you're not fucking her, you're not doing nothing for her, and then you have some negative report against her? I know her too. So you know what? I got him a job. He's doing better than I am. But he left, but he admitted he was just being a fucking leech.
Right.
And I don't have a problem being direct with the brother. You know, how could you do that to that woman? Why would you do that? Shit, I wouldn't mind having her. I would at least do something, at least drop the pipe. So she knows you dropping the pipe on other people and still feeding you. She can't have nothing sweet dick, no money, no cleanup. No, you don't even read over her papers. Fuck, nigga, I want to kill you.
But that's when you said a lot of women have babies by no good men because they be dropping that pipe on them real good.
Yeah, but the point is, and then the pipe is good. Taste ye and see that the Lord is good.
Yeah, but here's my thing. The confusion for me is this though, because a lot of folks got this thing that the black woman is God. So if you God, you choose to lay down with certain type of males to produce certain type of males. So the black woman got to have a lot of responsibility in how these men are turning out, because you know, Judge Joe Brown talk about the Spartan mother, where they raise their boys to be man. You can fight, but you gotta be willing to die for what you want. And we're raising our males not to be men. Right. This is therein lies the problem. And the black women they the first teacher, the nurturer, and protector of the child. If you're not protecting the womb, not protecting them from forced vaccinations or from miseducation and from the just us system, the black women, because y'all the gatekeepers. Like I said, I deal with a lot of black women that are very disrespectful towards black males.
That's true, but you know what? The other problem is it's the same way they talk about the wealth gap. There's a pussy gap between good black men and bad black men, and you black women have to solve it. You're misallocating it. Okay, you have a great resource, but you know what? If you gave a dog a pearl necklace, if anything, it might bury it. You've got to pick better people, and the hostility to patriarchy, and there's good patriarchy. In fact, all the things that the women are beefing about that men don't do are patriarchal. Any system that's anti-patriarchal, any concept, any belief that's anti-patriarchal is ultimately deleterious to black women and to black youth. So the black women want to be protected. That's patrimony, patriarchy. Matriarchy means that I'll get it myself. I'll do it myself. I'm fine. I can do bad by myself. I saw a case where a black woman was killed by a white man, and I said, I guess the greener grass got her, or I guess she did bad by herself. We have to stop trying to usurp one another. We have a lot of passive-aggressive behavior when we're angry with the system, but we take it out on each other. Sister Dana, I was so sad. I watched the Netflix documentary on Nina Simone. And when I found out how her husband beat her, I had to turn the thing off. Because I happen to like Nina Simone. And said, wow, what kind of man gets with a woman and then beats the hell out of her?
But she chose to be with that man.
Yeah, well, he was
like your volume kind of off. He chose.
Volume.
Women got power, man. We can't force ourselves on the women. That's called rape.
He had good hair.
Right, but look. Yeah, but the women, your volume off the short. Your volume's kind of like low.
Audio.
Man.
So what?
Your audio is off. You know how it sometimes get low.
Oh, it gets low.
Okay, now it's better. But what I'm saying is, black women got to take responsibility. Look. Maya Angelou was best friends with Billie Holiday. She said she had an asshole detector. She'll find the worst MF to get with in the whole room full of good men. She'll find the worst of the worst to get with. So when you get your butt beat, it's my man. He hits me, but I love him. That's in her lyrics. Black women got to be held accountable for their choices.
I agree, but you know, Billie Holiday was bisexual. And the thing that she was raped. She was raped. But listen, I'm gonna just deal with her as an adult. She's bisexual, and that's one thing I despise from a lot of black women. They will look at the lives of a black woman that picks jackass men and make that the model of how black men are as a collective. Instead of saying, hey, sister, maybe the first dude that hit you, it's on him. Mm-hmm. When it's on the 10th one, you like being a punching dummy.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to be a crash dummy, a stunt woman, okay, for cops, then that's you. But Billie Holiday and other women pick these men.
Can I say something to that point? Because
Yeah.
it's I look at it on two folds. When you're an adult, yes, you are responsible for your decision making. However, when you have a lot of women who are women now, but when they were girls growing up, if they were abandoned, if they were molested, if they were raped, especially constantly over and over again, that does play a part in your decision making as an adult if you don't have any therapy. And going back to the mental health in the Black community, like we don't seek therapy, whether we can afford it or that's just not in our culture, right? But if you are someone who did come from a good family, let's take, for example, Yaya Mayweather. Somebody put NBA Youngboy in the chat. She's pregnant. She's what, 19, 20, what, 2021 or whatever. And her father is the wealthiest athlete in the world.
Right.
She was brought up in in an affluent family where she had every access as possible. But then you get pregnant by some low life ghetto rapper who has, I think, 5 or 6 other children by 5 different women, and your child is going to be the 6th or the 7th child, and you're going to be the 6th or the 7th baby mama. And apparently, allegedly, he has herpes, right? So what made you make that decision?
The pipe was good.
Right. So in that case, you were well protected growing up. You made the choice because you let the dick control your decision making. And it probably was a spoiled brat. However, as opposed to a female who came from a dysfunctional background of being raped and molested, they most likely are going to make that bad choice too. But it's somewhat of a default. So I don't always. Sometimes I look at the women like, why did you make that choice? What is your story?
What's your story? Well, I'm going to say this again. We're talking all social sciences. This is Sunday. A lot of folks went to.
That's what I majored in college too, social science.
But I'm going to just say to you straight up, sin, lust, that dick, that dude could screw those 6 girls. I want to walk with the limp. I've seen women walk funny after they've had sex to kind of show off that they got some. I've seen this. I remember the musician Najee. Remember him? Mm-hmm. Najee was screwing this woman upstairs at the Marriott where I was working. And that woman, when she walked out, she did the victory strut. And it was like she had some way of making her pelvis arc up like on a 30-degree angle. And women are aware after they've had some sex that sometimes they strut to let all the other women know that they got some. And I'm just telling you. But these ladies really, we need to deal with the issue of right and wrong, sin and wickedness. And what is it that makes you want a dick that other people had? And one of the things that I noticed, I call it vaginal jousting. Women, like when you watch the old movies, like the Knights of the Round Table, Sir Camelot, right? Well, and they try to knock each other off when the knights do the little thing where they have their little lances pointed at each other. They try to knock the other off the horse, and whoever knocks the person off, it's a champion. Mm-hmm. Well, women try to beat down other women with having the better vagina. Mm-hmm. That they have a snapper. They've got like kung fu grip down there, that they've got a better vagina than the other woman, and that they can make this guy scream and shout more than she can. And so sometimes I've seen women compete for who can outfuck a man and break him down and conquer him. Okay. Now, the problem is a lot of times those women do that with the man, and the guy says, man, this pussy's so good, I got to marry her. She doesn't have sex once they got married. The sex was merely a competition between her and another woman. And once she gets with the man and he marries her, she cuts the cooch off, which makes the dude go crazy. They go and start screwing everybody because, a lot of women like men that are highly sexed. They want to prove that they can conquer the savage beast or the savage pipe or the savage dick, whatever it is that they're trying to conquer. And when they're chasing the dragon. Now, once so these women will all compete. I've seen this at Howard, like as many as 10 women screwing one man, hoping that they've got the golden ticket inside their vagina that cashes in, and the dude picks her over the other women. And so the man is objectified. He's not really a person. He's simply someone to prove to other girls, I got that too. Women do it just like men do it.
Mhm.
And it's,
But it falls back on us differently, you know, because
it does fall back differently. But the point is, they knew that before they spread their legs, that he can get an STD, but he can't get a baby. And so this is the other problem I have
stuck with the baby.
With pork chop. No, sometimes if he's rich, they want to get stuck with the baby.
Right.
That's why the girls get the condoms out of the trash cans of the NCAA players and NFL. Oh, girl, give me
a hole in it, or the turkey baster.
Or even
but I'm just talking about taking the condoms from the athletes, like mixing that stuff up and making certain that they get a dude that makes it to the NBA or the NFL. So these women are not always stuck. Sometimes the baby is a platinum plan, a platinum parachute, or platinum tampon.
It's like a classic example of that is Paul George, the NBA player who was engaged to Doc Rivers' daughter. He ended up raw dogging a stripper up down in Miami. He gave her money to get an abortion, but she said, I could make more money with the baby staying alive. That's my golden ticket. He ended up marrying the stripper. You know, he ended up,
keeper to keeper.
Yeah, and little Kim
is he
too.
Happy?
Yeah, I see. I think he can.
We don't know, but that's a good question. He's probably not happy.
I don't know.
She's climbing the pole.
Why was he raw dogging the stripper? I'm not trying to pass judgment, but that's interesting. But
John Joe Brown said this week, he was like, lust is not masculinity. And that was for the men. And he's right. Like, you're talking about lust is not masculinity.
Lust isn't femininity either.
Exactly. But we was focusing on the men.
But you asked about the woman who had the baby. So a lot of these women lust after, and I guess sometimes, you know, a lot of women want to be a mommy. Like the woman that had the baby by Jesse Jackson was screwing about 4 or 5 men at one time, trying to get some prominent man to impregnate her.
Really? His mistress?
Yes.
I remember she did a 2020 interview too.
Yeah, I mean, the baby's name is Ashley. She was screwing other men, and she wasn't taking birth control. She was trying to get pregnant.
Yeah, but a lot of women, I mean, a lot of people don't wear.
A lot of women
don't do birth control.
She wanted to get pregnant. She wanted to get pregnant by an important,
the highest bidder.
Yes, or the highest nigger.
Yeah, but I also want to say this because
right, she got to be on code. Let me keep it in the race.
Yeah, but also you look at the situation with Little Kim. She's like a Picasso painting right now. Little Kim was a pretty woman, pretty brown woman. When I was growing up, I had a crush on Little Kim. But she said because the men in her life she chose to be with made her feel like she was ugly. I mean, Notorious B.I.G. Come on, you let Biggie,
you know what,
allow you make you feel ugly.
I'm going to say this to you. I don't want to hear that because when you walk down the street, you see people that might like you. Did Little Kim have a preference for those coon as fuck rappers? She wanted those kind of guys. So
it's a choice.
Love didn't count. A man that says, look, baby, not only do you give me a rise in my drawers, but I'll be with you through thick and thin. You look at Monique. Looking at Monique, you might think she's just a fat girl. She don't have nobody, but she's with someone. And that man's with her no matter through thick and thin. We used to treasure that. We don't do it now. You know, folks want to know how, you know, what kind of rims you have in your car, what's your 401k. I mean, people do all this stuff and they fail to understand that the wealthier the people are, the more promiscuous they tend to be. The most loyal.
They get away with it.
Yeah, the most loyal people tend to be of modest income. The most loyal black men and women are the working classes, the ones that have it. Like the lady I knew who was dating a doctor, and he was saying to her, if you want to continue to see me, you're going to have to eat my ass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like you see women that fly out to Dubai to be with a wealthy man, you know, you talk about the highest level of prostitution. They get paid 10, 15, maybe 20,000. But what they do is, and
But
these
they
are
don't like being called prostitutes.
right. But these are non-black men. What they do is they pay them that money and buy them Birkin bags and put them in the most expensive clothing. But then they take them back to the hotel room and literally defecate on them because they have that demonic sexual fantasy freaking.
What Janet Jackson sure learned. The pleasure principle.
Well, did she knew when to get out? Because she knew what she was doing. She knew that man was a billionaire. She wanted a kid, and again, to the highest bidder.
She wanted a light-skinned kid.
Right.
Okay.
And he had the money and the influence.
A lot of these sisters, they're practicing eugenics. Okay.
Right.
And they get a bad deal. Hey.
Like I said, black women trying to emulate white women. Little Kim.
Yes.
She's want to be a white woman. That's what she was trying to look like.
And black men try to emulate white men
and it never works.
In terms of being jackasses towards women, you know, like P shitty or B shitty.
Mm-hmm.
These people they're degenerate. I don't know. Did you see the movie The Wolf of Wall Street?
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. And that's what a lot of black men aspire to be, just like that, Dana.
Yeah.
And that's when I was looking at that. This is what drink champagne and throw money in the trash can and all that. There's no consciousness. There's no morality. And I'm going to just keep saying this. Black people are being destroyed by the absence of a understanding and a knowledge of God, and a lack of belief in absolute rights and wrongs. And I just had someone come on my platform, and yes, I disrespected them. This person said, I respect everybody's religion. I says, well, I don't. And I blocked them. I mean, if you have a stupid religion like your Nexium cult, you're stupid. Okay. And I don't want to sit down and do long religious conversation. You want to be in a dumbass cult. You want them to screw your baby and screw you and pee on you and all this other kind of stuff. Go ahead. But and you've got I don't like organized religion, so they go off into disorganized religion and do a million times worse. So now we were supposed to talk about trans.
We are.
Oh well, I'm being respectful of the time. I told Sister Dana, 2 hours. I know we over a little bit, so I just we'll say that for another discussion. But Sister Dana, you got SiStar Dana, you got anything you want to add or final words or thoughts?
I would say this. We spoke on a lot, but reading is very important. I don't read as much as I have all these books here. I don't read as much as I do. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
We need this book club, baby. We need a book club.
Where do we go from here?
I just bought that one.
Civilization.
Okay, I have that one. I don't know where it is.
I have the Black Stats. I have this. I have Dr. Umar Johnson. I need to stop buying a whole. I need to just sit down and just read one book at a time. I said all that to say, the problem we don't read, and that sounds so cliche, it's so simple, but if the younger generation, even I would say my generation and younger, they educate themselves off of memes. They educate themselves off of YouTube channels, right? Porno, yeah. Everything else in social media, because technology is at top speed. They didn't have, I have 4 grandchildren. They know how to go on YouTube, to go to the kid YouTube. Like, they're born into technology. You just can't help it. But my daughter, they do a good job. They don't watch TV or whatever, monitoring it. But we don't read, and that's why I say that I really want you, Dr. Randy Short, and someone, like Dr. Joshua Brown, but you, Dr. Randy Short, when I mentioned you linking up with the guy, Minister Jap, because you bring that element of facts, history, of education that is missing. And you talk about grown adults, men or women. And that's very important because You could sit here, you could complain about Black women, we could complain about Black men, yeah, white supremacy, we could complain and we could talk about it, but you're never going to know how to take action if you don't educate yourself. And you don't have to go to school to be educated. It's just about reading what is going on, the science of politics, history. So globalization, it's been happening, but I just think it's happening at a faster pace that we eventually, the Black people here in America, are eventually going to end up being eliminated if we don't start taking some type of action right now. Mm-hmm. And it's not about, I don't agree with everything somebody says, but so what? I'm not going to not work with them. You know what I'm saying? So just stop being petty and just start educating ourselves to better ourselves.
Thank you, well, Dr. Short.
We are facing a quick demise. I'm going to make an appeal. We need to know God. We need to know the Most High. If you're familiar with Deuteronomy 28, our people prophesied in the Holy Scriptures that we would go through a lot of hell. It's time for us to reconnect with the Most High in terms of how we treat one another, how we relate to the Most High, what we eat, how we're treating each other. We need to reject idols and idolatry. That includes worshiping the system that we're in, the people that dominate the system that we're in, worshiping materialism or worshiping fornication and abominable behavior and abominations. We must rediscover God quick, fast, in a hurry. When we gain our God sense, like the prodigal son and the parable in the Gospels, once you find out and realize you're in a hog pen and people have slated you for destruction, you can get back to the Most High and find out that you come from divine royalty and that you are from greatness, not nothingness. We must get that, and we must get it quickly. We must feed ourselves. Everybody can have a garden. Everybody can buy seeds. Everybody can have a hole. I'm talking about one that you farm with. If you have another one, that's your problem. Everybody can grow something. People have friends and family down south. We need to start growing and doing everything we can for ourselves. We must come together, those that want to survive. This fascination is an assassination project. It's Tuskegee and the Negro Project 2.0, being brought to you by the Boule. The Boule is our enemy. In fact, one of the fastest ways to freedom, again, is to rediscover God, rediscover right and wrong, learn to love family, love your brother and your sister, not as a sex object, even though they can have sex with you, but love them because they are your blood. We're one people. Black folks are one large family. We need to come together, and then we need to attack our internal enemies. The reason that we're in the situation that we are, it's socially engineered by having traitorous, sellout, no good, coon as fuck, black neck, niggling, negroidian traitors in the church and everywhere else. We must turn on them. We must punish them. The day that we hold these people accountable, things will begin to line up. Our millennials are lost because my generation was lost. The boomers need to be retired. Their time is over. We need to shove them out of their positions. And it's time for those of us who are Xers, who are conscious, to do everything that they can. And the millennials and the generation between need to learn how to work with people. If I'm 10 or 20 or 30 years older than you, it doesn't mean I'm useless. It just means I've been here longer. We need each other. We can't afford a generation gap. We can't afford a literacy gap. We can't afford a understanding of digital technology gap. We cannot have a gap in our understanding of nutrition. We must come together. We must also arm ourselves. That's right. If you get a gun, you might need it for someone next door. You may need it for a Proud Boy if the Proud Boy's in the wrong. We need to avoid being caught up in Marxist-Leninist bullshit, aka Black Lives Matter and Antifa. It's filth. It's from the pit of hell. All of them are whore, lying, lesbo-dyke bitches and sellout effeminate niggas that are worthless. We must have our own movements. We need our own political party. We need basically our own spiritual nation within a nation, and we need to do this quickly. We don't need everybody. If 1% of Black folks decided that the other 99% would survive, we will win. But we must come into this struggle, understand that the Boule and its vestiges and its wannabes must be punished, destroyed, extirpated, strung up this very decade, or we won't live much longer.
Thank you, Dr. Short, for that. What's your contact information? How can people get in touch with you, follow you, support you?
Should the sister go first, or did she go first already?
I'm gonna let her go. I just want to make you go ahead.
Okay, well, let me take a minute. Okay, on TikTok, I'm Randy Lancaster Short. On Instagram, I'm Randy Lancaster Short, and I'm also Randy Short 1965. On Twitter, I'm Kuna Bomber. On Twitter, I'm DRS 11965. I am Randy Lancaster Short on Facebook. I'm Randy Short on Facebook. I'm Randy Short YouTube channel, and I'm Randy Lancaster Short YouTube channel. At present, my Randy Short YouTube channel is banned for at least another day, and my Randy Short Facebook is full, but the Randy Lancaster Short is open, and my Randy Short Facebook is banned for 25 more days.
What's your email?
My email, it's coming. It's wrandyshort@gmail or wrandyshort@yahoo. My support lines, I have Zelle. Zelle is wrandyshort@gmail. PayPal is wrandyshort@gmail. My Cash App is $ capital D, lowercase r, uppercase R, lowercase a n d y, uppercase s, lowercase HORT, Dr. Randy Short. You can find me, and I do respond to serious people, but I don't like foolishness. Absolutely. I want you, Sister Dana. I've been looking for a Black woman that we can kick it on books, because, and I want to do a shout out to my auntie, Kim Weston, who used to sing with Marvin Gaye, the mother of the Black National Anthem. She turned 81 today. Happy birthday, Mother Kim Weston. I'm going to be sending you some money. She's Legend Songbird at Cash App if you want to send her a buck. That she turns 81, but this is a lady that got blackballed by J. Edgar Hoover. But sister, we have to work together. I would love to meet the other YouTubers. Ron is my witness. I work with people provided they're not trying to mess over, exploit me, or disrespect my network. I'm not saying any names, Ron heard. If people are nice and respectful to me, I'm nice and respectful to them. I love Black women. Black women are the only wealth that Black men have outside of God himself. So if I'm critical, it's because I care. I know Negroes like Sotomayor, they just hate Black women. I can't watch them. When I'm giving women hell, I want them to be better. I'm not giving them hell because I don't like them. I love Black men, as long as they remember that we're both men. And I give them hell because I believe that they can be better. And if Black men can unify around screwing each other in the behind, we can surely, those of us who don't want that, can come together to save and protect our women and babies. That's the least that could be expected. You don't have to be a biological father to care about Black babies. You don't have to be married or engaged. You could be a Negro with erectile dysfunction. You still need to protect the Black woman. In fact, even our Black whores need to be protected. White whores are protected. You just look up the Scottsboro boys. The honor of Black women must be restored. Femininity must be restored. Masculinity must be restored. Toxic brotherfucker pimp syndrome in Black men must be destroyed. And feminism, all of it, pork chop feminism, must be purged from the lives of Black people. And I, Randy Short, Dr. Randy Short, stand by what I just said.
And SiStar Dana, Jersey Red. What's up? Dana with the data, Jersey Red.
So you can just subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Real Dana. My Cash App is $ Dana with the data. And I'm on Instagram, The Real Dana #7. And the same for Twitter, The Real Dana #7. And I do, like I said earlier, I do a show with the judge Thursday, Man Up. It's for the men. And we're going to be talking about Black women this Thursday. So I may got to drop you a link, Dr. Short, to come on.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be like a 5-hour show.
I know, right? But yeah, so and my email address is danawiththedata@gmail.com. So, but subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Real Dana, because I'm trying to quickly get to 10,000 subscribers.
Well, but you know what? I can help you. I got a few. Get a few of mine. We need to help one another get. I want to thank Brother Ron Hurd, Sister Dana. He wouldn't let me come on his show. He was like a woman. You got to go out and get a job before you can have sex. So I had to go out and get my channel up to like 1,000 before he'd take me back. You know, it's sort of like a woman locking her husband out. Get a job. I'll screw you, but you have to get a job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so we can help you get, I think you can get 10,000. And we got to talk about this. By the way, Sister Dana, if someone said I wanted 50% of what you make in order to get you to 5,000, would you think that that was bogus? And would you also think that's bogus, Brother Ron Hurd?
5,000 what, subscribers?
Yes, they wanted to get half of what you bring in. Is that reasonable?
No.
Okay, what would you ask someone for? What would you, if someone said they want to help promote your channel?
Then promote it. Like, you don't pay people to promote your channel. I got my numbers organically. Don't think you have to rush to get a certain amount. Let it grow organically. And that's what mine did. And I'm not paying. No, don't never pay someone to grow your channel. It's a lot of people, I guess, who could market a YouTube channel so you could get more subs. But what you're not, it's not like a business or a product that you're selling. What you're educating and informing Black people and all people, basically. You don't give nobody half of what because people donate to you on YouTube. Like, people don't have to. So they don't have to give us money, but they give it to us because they enjoy our content and, you know, and they enjoy listening to you because you're helping. I'm not going to give that to somebody else so you could give me more subs when those subs, because they're going to come organically. So no.
You're going to get more subs because what's needed is we need to have Black men and Black women talking. We also need a Black men show for Black men to just like get all this stuff out. We're not talking about semen. We're talking about thoughts and ideas, brothers. Keep it clean. We need to get this out. I would love to chat with you. I just got, I was waking up when Ron sent me a message. It's like, I was up all night because, y'all don't know this. They keep it quiet. But Antifa tried to burn down the house of the Black pastor outside of Dayton, Ohio. And, and they threatened to kill another friend of mine in Columbus, Ohio, just a few minutes away, threatened to kill his family. And, now these Antifa in prison work with the Aryan nations. They've been threatening to kill Black people who are involved in politics. If you're not for Biden, they've been threatening to kill people all over the country. This is a very dangerous time. A lot of folks, it's interesting that you don't have Trump people threatening to kill folks, with the exception of war nuts down in Atlanta. And sister, y'all got to go in on him. That's a sorry ass nigga down in Atlanta. I know the white woman looks like Rapunzel that needs a touch up and shit. She does. I mean, and
the richest white woman in Congress, Loeffler.
Yeah, she looks like Rapunzel, and she needs to get a touch up. I mean, I've seen weaves that look better than the hair she has. She doesn't want to cut it. And they haven't offered Black people anything, but this dude, he's been paid to help get us all vaccinated. The little bald-headed, looks like Mr. Potato Head with glasses.
The Reverend?
Yes, he's no good. He tried to kill his wife, and I hear it's been alleged to me that he's taking money from Dr. King. He's robbing Dr. King's church. My God.
But my thing is, what is wrong with the Black people in the South that they think that the Republican Party is the devil or something? And it's like, what are you afraid of?
It could. It
What
might be.
what is the Democratic Party doing that you are afraid to give up? Because that's Dixiecrats, especially, or even up here in the North. But
Killing babies, and being queer seems to be the only thing that they're helping us do. Okay, and
Right.
bringing in illegals to replace us. I wish there was something.
because there's
God,
no benefit that the Democrats are doing for you, particularly in Georgia.
exactly, but you know they got that sumo wrestling tramp. But you know she's in trouble. Stacey Abrams going to need an accordion cell as big as she is. They have to expand depending on how much she's eating. You know they're going to have
You know
walls.
what? I will leave on this note. I think the issue is like it's a generational disconnect because I know I have alienated 2 black men in their 70s. We had one was my pastor, my childhood pastor who baptized me. He unfriended me on Facebook. I'm thinking because I voted for Trump twice. And another guy I respect, he's a retired college professor and jazz musician. When I told him I voted for Trump the other day, he said, "You must be joking." I said, "No, I'm not joking. I voted for him twice."
Why are older boomer men such bitches?
I mean, because it is what it
bitches.
is, man. They never,
They're
they not
bitches.
men. Look, they never allowed to. August Wilson shows how frustrating it is to be a black man in America. We're not allowed to be fully realized men. We're just males.
But the point is,
for the most part,
he stepped on you. If you thought that supporting a different candidate would help, and that
I'm trying
was
to help black people. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But my point is, those same bitch ass older boomer Negro coons, they've stomped. I'm a generation before you. They've stomped. They didn't let anybody come along. No, it had to be the way that they think. The same power that they didn't have in society, they've overcompensated in being repressive jackasses back on black women, black boys, and they've done nothing. They've strangled and stifled. They've been angry at people who had nothing to do with their frustration. You know, I had this fight with Jim Foreman from SNCC. I was asked to call Jim Foreman by a mutual friend. And when I initially called Jim Foreman, he cussed and screamed and threatened and did all this stuff to me. And I'm thinking, sir, I don't even know you. You don't even know. He was so mean. Eventually, we became friends. But initially, it was all this hate and disrespect from Jim Foreman. And I had to eventually calm him down. But this generation, this older generation of black folks, these boomers, we had to have a conversation about how those folks have fucked us up. Not only have they've tried to pass the baton to people in their 20s. They've ignored the people like me in my 50s or people in the 40s. And they wanted a group.
Because they could control them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've crushed multiple generations of leadership. Didn't get to come along. They're the ones that let the abortion come in. They're the ones that let the gay stuff come in. They're the ones that hooked up with feminism. They really jacked us up.
I sat in a room with some prominent black people that are influenced in leadership and who are in leadership. And one of these men, and I'm not going to say their name, you know, I do respect him, but he said, this is before this election, I think it was 2018 or 2019 in the spring, he was like, our number one priority is getting Trump out of office above anything else. And ADOS is a problem. And then you start hearing ADOS is bias, ADOS is LGBT and all this other stuff.
It is LGBTQ. It is.
No, it's not. And that's they put out so much propaganda and social engineering that someone like you even believes that, because from the beginning, because it's not an organization. ADOS is not an organization.
Yeah, but we're talking about the leadership, and where
leadership is not, their agenda has nothing to do with LGBTQ at all. But because Yvette Carnell is allegedly a lesbian.
Not allegedly.
Well, I'm not going to, I don't know her personally, but okay, she's a lesbian. So what? She's not pushing that. She don't even address it. She's doing the total opposite of the boule. She had her and Tone Talks were able to get young people, black people, to actually pause and say, wait a minute, We're not, we want to know what's going on other than what has been given to us. Why not vote for Trump, or why not hold our vote? Yes, we should get reparations. She actually, her internal talks with ADOS and other people, but mainly them, actually had a good portion of young Black people start talking about reparations than ever before, because they knew how to reach them. The older generation does not.
Okay, here's a problem. I'm not disagreeing with the reparations or any of that, but there's a very, very simple matter. We're talking about Black men and Black women, and we're talking about family. And that's got to be the foundational thing that in fact, womanhood and manhood, it has to be addressed. Right now, we need people who are absolutely straight shooters leading. We can't afford anybody that's compromised in the sense that they have ulterior motives or ideas or influences on them.
Like
There's,
what? If you're specifically talking about her, who is she being influenced by, or what are the other motives?
We'll find out. But I will.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't say that is the truth when it has not even happened. Like, we know Black Lives Matter, what they was about, because it was in their manifesto about section. Black people didn't know because they don't read. It has been in there since from 5 years ago, but it just started coming out in 2019. Oh my God, this is their agenda. It's been like that from the beginning.
Some of us have been pushing it out for 5 years.
But you didn't know. But this is what I'm saying. They knew.
A lot of people, hold on, a lot of people have been telling the truth and disseminate, and have been through algorithms and shadow banning. Certain people were allowed to reach and other people weren't. This thing, Brother Ron's telling you that they take you guys, members and followers away, even though you get them. There are people working against people who are telling it like it is. Sometimes people don't even get to know them. So when I get someone that says, I've been trying to find you for 5 years, I think it's funny. But what if it's true that they're making this stuff disappear where people can't hear what you're saying? What I will say to you is this. You and I can talk offline because we've done this long show. If you're not afraid of me being some kind of rakish Negro that's inappropriate, we can speak directly and not have to bore the viewers with this. But I'm very clear, just as much as Black Lives Matter folk. I would just tell you what Yvette did to me. And that is, Yvette worked very hard to block a candidate I was pushing who was fighting for reparations in Baltimore. And it was to get back at me because I asked the broader question and she told people I was stalking her, which is a lie. And you put out this thing, I'm sexually harassing her. It's a damn lie. I wouldn't stalk her, never been attracted. You tried to do some COINTEL shit to me, and yes, you did. And you know what? I'm still standing. And when I had people from ADOS tell me that they were supporting all the way down the ballot Democrats, this was back in 2019, that was the plan, but not to let everybody know. Once you understand this, certain people are not very transparent about where they're coming from. But I'm not going to say, I like, there's a significant part of ADOS that I adore. I adore young folk being energized, and man, I love this. I even like Negroes waking up on trops, on foreign Negroes at game over here. I do not like Blacks in the diaspora, but I do dislike people messing with us. Okay, if they come here and participate in our oppression, I appreciate that awareness, but I also know what it's like for the very person that you're defending to attack me for raising these issues.
I'm not defending her. And
okay, well, good.
Let me just make this clear. When I say ADOS, first of all, I don't have to speak for her because she knows how to defend herself, and I don't personally know her. When you're talking about American descendants of slavery, there are different Black organizations. You don't have to pick, everyone is different agendas, but it is for the advancement of Black people. But you have to understand, like you understand, I understand, okay, that may be a phony, or, I'm not rocking with that one. We're not monolithic, but we should
No.
be monolithic when it comes to getting out of being oppressed. So just
I agree.
you don't have to say ADOS because that's not for everyone. I say it. Some people say FBA, that Tariq Nasheed coin, and that's fine
Go
too.
Tariq.
But it's all for the same purpose. However,
Right.
you have a personal thing with
I have a philosophical, because when I was trying to recruit people like her to look at reparations 20 plus years ago, these folks were too into the LGBTQ and other stuff.
right.
So
And I do know before she started talking about ADOS and reparations, she used to work with Bernie Sanders' office. So she was in Washington. And it's like, okay, everybody evolve, everybody change, whether it's for the good or for the bad.
well, it's better.
But
But
Black people, not you, but I'm talking about Black people in general. And I need to address this bitch in the chat real quick. But the problem I have with Black people, you too emotional to the fact, the emotional of you think stupidly. Just because you don't agree with what somebody say, you want to say, oh, then you don't know nothing because you don't agree. You don't have to agree. You know what I'm saying? And this chick, Nikki, and I'm sorry, this is me being ghetto, but Nikki Willa McRoy, bitch, you don't know me. You don't even know what it means to be a feminist or a feminist. So don't tell me what I am and what I am not. Like, stop. What makes people think that you're more qualified or less qualified than me? I don't walk around saying that, thinking that I know everything. But I hate it when Black women, and this is the problem I do have with Black women. Let me just say this because it'll be 3 hours exactly in 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, we'll wrap it up. Go ahead.
The problem with Black women, you talk too fucking much, and you talk too much to where you're being condescending. I hate when a bitch say sis. No, because you're being condescending. You think you can sit up here and tell somebody what they should do, what they should not do, how they should say it. I didn't ask for your fucking opinion. I'm stating my opinion, and I do lay out facts. I do read. You may have facts that I don't know. Share it with me.
Sister Dana, you're talking about pork chop feminism.
I'm talking whether they're pork chops, whether they're at size 2, whether it's someone like a Nikki thinking I'm a feminist or whatever. My point is this: who the fuck are you to say who's feminine and not? Just because I called you a bitch, that don't mean I'm not feminine. I'm just getting in your ass. And that's what Black men, you need to learn how to get in a bitch ass, but you need to learn how to do it the right way so that
without his fist.
Just saying.
Without his hands. Okay, the only thing hard a man needs to be using with the woman is his member.
Don't be so emotional. Like women are emotional.
I love y'all.
Women. We are emotional, and I bask in emotions because I am a one man. Men are logical. They have to use logic, dummy. That is the fucking difference, bitch.
Okay, on that note, we love you, Dana. We love.
I had to block you from my fucking YouTube. You follow me from the Star Report, from Star in the Morning. I got that fucking email. You trying to scam people out of money for a fucking GoFundMe? I got fucking receipts, bitch.
God bless America. Okay, I'm gonna read the disclaimer at the end of the show. At the end of the show. But I love Jersey Red. I like Dana. That's New Jersey style right there, and she's a lady. She's a lady. Whoa.
Where's she in New Jersey?
New York.
Oh yeah, she's definitely Jersey. Newark. That's Brick City. That's why she's like that.
I got much family in Bricktown. The patriarch of my family is in Newark.
I love Jersey women.
So she's a 973 area code.
Yes. I love Jersey women, man. Jersey girls are special women. But on that note, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I didn't know the show could go this long. I appreciate Real Dana with the data and Dr. Randy Short. They are truly, in the words of Duke Ellington, beyond category. So we thank you all. And just remember, like, the trolls and the haters are the biggest fans on the planet. And we thank you for your support in the chat room. All your interesting conversations, and thank you all for having this dialogue with me on this Sunday. Really appreciate y'all. We're closing out the year strong, and I know that the best is yet to come. Thank y'all so much for being on with me today.
Peace.
Thanks for having me.
Peace. Yes, I'm gonna read this disclaimer before I go. Disclaimer. Listen, look. The views expressed by hosts and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. And on that note, thank you all for listening. In the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Y'all keep on producing and pushing and keep on thinking. One love. Thank y'all so much.
Thanks for having me.
That's an honor.
Likewise. Thank you, brother. Thank you, sister. We got